What? Don't give me a hard time. All right, let's call to order this Sparks City Council meeting for June 9th with a roll call.
Mayor Lawson.
Here.
Council members Abbott.
Here.
Vanderwell. Here. Anderson.
Here.
Bybee.
Here.
Rodriguez.
Here.
City Attorney Duncan. Here. City Manager Louthan.
Here.
We have a quorum. Thank you.
Okay, our invocation speaker today is our city attorney, Mr. Duncan.
Lord, we God thank you for gathering us together. Northern Nevada. Sanity of parents and the protection of our kids, and just watch over our community. And Lord, we just pray for this council today and decisions made. Give wisdom. Amen.
Lisa, can you lead us in the pledge? All right, we'll move on to public comment. We'll start with Mark Markell, followed by Hunter Rand.
A Yucaipa man was in critical condition Friday at Loma Linda University Medical Center when he was taken for treatment of head injuries after a car crash Thursday, authorities said. Mark Markell, 24, was thrown from a 1977 Datsun as it overturned on Live Oak Canyon Road at the eastbound Interstate 10 off-ramp at 4:30 p.m., said California Highway Patrol Officer Amber Drysdale. The driver was driving south on Live Oak Canyon Road when he lost control of the car, struck a curb, and skidded into the off-ramp. The vehicle rolled over several times and landed on top of Mark Markell.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Mayor, City Council member, City Manager, and City Attorney. My name is Mark Markell. I'm here, God willed me alive to show you people and tell you people what can happen to drunk people who get in the car with a drunk driver. My life's been totally messed up. I lost my wife, I lost and 5 months later I lost my dad. So it's really been rough for me. I just don't want to see anybody else go through this. It's a journey, but it's one that was complete. And I'm here to show you people and warn you people what can happen if you get in a car with a drunk driver. So please don't. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. And Julie, can we get Mark a Sparks hat? I'm just looking at this Reno hat in the back row. It's bothering the hell out of me. We need to get him a Sparks hat. Just crazy. Mark, thank you for that. We always appreciate when you show up. Hunter, come on down. Hunter Rand, followed by Mark Young. Am I saying it close? You're after him. You're right after him.
Hello, I'm Hunter Rand. I'm a Ward 2 resident, Spark small business owner, and an FAA certified commercial drone pilot. I'm here to speak on item 9.11, which is the first reading of Bill 2835, the proposed drone ordinance. I work as a filmmaker and producer, often flying drones for live TV. And while I've operated nationwide, the majority of my flight hours are here in Sparks and Reno. You've probably seen my footage, even without knowing it, featured by the city of Sparks and Reno, the NCAA, the MLB, NBC, and every single local station, including Telemundo. Becoming a licensed pilot in 2021 gave me the financial freedom to leave teaching and return to filmmaking full time, which is what I wanted to be when I grew up. And I understand the intent behind this ordinance, and I appreciate the effort to address the safety concerns. But currently as written, it misses the mark and may unintentionally burden those of us who are already compliant with federal regulations. Specifically, as of June 1, there are 167 licensed commercial drone pilots that live in Sparks according to the FAA. The ordinance speaks of unknown drones with unknown capabilities, yet those of us that are going to be affected are known, trained, and licensed. My background check to get my license was a lot more thorough than the one done when I became a teacher, which says a lot. Meanwhile, the real issue that we actually face is hobbyists flying illegally in controlled airspace, and it remains unaddressed. Most of Sparks, especially south of Los Altos, requires airspace authorization, yet many hobbyists don't know or follow these rules. Most of what this ordinance tries to tackle is already federally regulated, and rather than duplicating and conflicting with those rules, as there is federal preemption in this area, I'd urge the city to focus on education, better information sharing with the FAA, and encouraging retailers to ensure buyers are informed of the law. I will say you can go to Best Buy right now without showing a license and buy a drone and commit a felony in the parking lot in about 2 minutes. But I pay cash for a car, and I got to show my driver's license. So I think we can work together to craft a solution that protects the public here without penalizing responsible federally licensed operators. There are already 2 federal law enforcement officers in the area that issue these citations. And let me tell you, it is terrifying when they show up at your door, and they just show up at your door. So thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, Mark Keong, and followed by Heather Jenner John. And I'm assuming Lilith is with you. I'll have both of you come up at the same time. That way you don't have to speak.
Well, good afternoon. For the record, my name is Mark Janung, and I apologize for not having a Sparks t-shirt on. I was in the field doing testing. My professional role is I'm the head of the Nevada UAS test site. But I'm here speaking in a private capacity, and I echo the previous set of comments. As I understand it, the intent is to eliminate or prevent operations within 500 feet of the areas cited in that bill. The problems are profound. I suspect your attorney has given some discussion of what the FAA thinks they own in terms of regulations for airspace. You can certainly control launch and recovery sites, but it gets challenging once you get into navigable airspace. The other challenge is the language as written talks about private. And I think perhaps if anything, you wanted to talk about recreational pilots as the previous person just spoke to. I will also draw your attention that there's been 2 executive actions, EOs, put out by the White House since Friday, both of which enhance the notion of how drones are going to become a more profound impact on our economy. And these are the kind of things that we do at the Nevada test site. But again, my comments are my own personal ones. But the point I want to make here is the FAA is preparing to put out a notice for proposed rulemaking to allow for drones up to 1,320 pounds to fly beyond visual line of sight to do any number of capacities, medical delivery, search and rescue, linear infrastructure inspection, drones as first responders. The point I'm attempting to make here is that there's some legislation that's going to dramatically expand the kind of operation you're going to see in the national airspace. It's going to include Sparks, and it's going to be private entities, commercial entities doing those kind of functions that I've alluded to and others that our children will imagine. And I just don't want the legislature here or the council here to potentially paint itself into a box on something you may have to dramatically change. The White House executive orders noted that this new legislation is supposed to be in place in 240 days. So again, thank you for the opportunity to comment before the council.
Thanks, Mark. Heather and Lilith, you want to come down?
Good afternoon. My name is Heather Jenner John. I'm here on behalf of Galaxy Theaters, as well as the Reno Sparks Chamber of Commerce Leadership Class of 2025. To my left.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council members. My name is Lilette, representing same class and representing Grand Sierra Resort.
We're here to learn, observe. This is our first time ever attending a meeting, so we're really excited to be here. And thank you for letting us comment.
Thank you for the opportunity. Like Heather mentioned, I've never done this before, and it's great to be involved in the community to this point.
Well, the millions of people that are watching us on YouTube will be happy you're here. Okay, any other public comment? Anyone in the public wishing to comment at this time? All right, if not, we'll bring it back to the dais, and I'm looking for an approval of the agenda. Mr. Anderson,
Move to approve the agenda as submitted.
Mr. Abbott.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Minutes, any additions, subtractions? If not, I'm looking for a motion. Ms. Bybee.
I move to approve the minutes of the Sparks City Council meeting for May 27th, 2025, as submitted.
Ms. Vanderwell.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. 7.1, presentation, Economic Development Authority of Western Nevada. Mr. Taylor Adams. You have 3 minutes. Make it fast. No.
Oh, it's asking me for a password.
You don't have it?
I don't.
Yep, I guess you don't get to present.
Okay. Thanks for having me. Thanks very much. Good afternoon, Mayor and Council, Mr. Attorney, Mr. Manager. It's great to be with all of you this afternoon as I am. Did I get it? All right. Okay, 3 minutes. Here we go. No, thanks so much for having me. Just a quick refresher for what EDON is. We're the Economic Development Authority of Western Nevada. We're a public-private partnership. 30% of our funding on average each year comes from state and local government support. City of Sparks being one of our long-term supporters in that space. And then also 70% of that revenue comes from the private sector. And that's something we like to always highlight every year, as many of our colleagues across the country are purely public sector funded. We like to say that, we like to talk about the fact that about almost 3/4 of our revenues come from the private sector and the business community here in Northern Nevada. Our team, as many of you already know, we're organized into 4 factions: business attraction, business retention and expansion, entrepreneurial development, and then strategic partnerships and workforce. In addition to that, we also have an investor relations, marketing, and an operations team, but most of our outward-facing work happens through one of the 4 teams that are in front of you here. Looking at 2025 thus far, this is a lot of information. I'm going to give you a graph here in a moment just to show you some of this. But I do want to, these are the announcements that we have made in this fiscal year. Like the City of Sparks, we have a fiscal year that runs from July 1 to June 30th. One of the most exciting things that's happened here very recently, you'll see the Casio announcement at the top of the list. That is, of course, that's 250,000 square feet that are being absorbed right here in Sparks. And yes, that is Casio, the household brand. I mean, in fact, I asked when the team brought that forward, does that mean I get one of the cool calculator watches? They said, no, different part of Casio, but nonetheless, same company. And so this is a move from New Jersey into Nevada and specifically into Sparks. So really exciting announcement. 100 new jobs for the community. To give you a look at our, at how these announcements break down, you can see, and I'm going to show you last year where this was a bit more, where there were a lot more pieces of pie on this chart, but logistics and distribution continue to be a real strength of our local economy. Advanced manufacturing is continuing to grow, and then tech and information technology, as you can see, is really growing. Now, what is tech and information technology? I won't hide the ball from you. A lot of that's going to be data center activity. Why data centers? Data centers seem to be the most financeable deal in the marketplace right now. I don't have to tell any of you all, there's a growing regional, statewide, and national conversation about how much of this use we need. But in fueling AI across and the demands for AI or artificial intelligence across our country right now, this is the most financeable deal that we see. It was about half of what we did last year. There's also some tech manufacturing startup in there that we also think is really attractive, but just so you can know, that's what we are. What's driving this smaller pie? The question is a question we often get, and generally speaking, it's really, we're dealing with three things that are creating some economic headwinds right now. One is some ongoing uncertainty in the market about regarding what sort of our future economic uses are going to look like. Tariffs have certainly had an effect, and by the way, when I say tariffs have had an effect, I don't mean that to be a political statement. That's just to mean that the materials that we need to build these structures are more expensive than they were 6 months ago, and so the market is still pricing that in. And then third is won't be a surprise to you know, the Fed has continued its somewhat restrictive position as it tries to bring inflation down. So the maintenance of the federal funds rate where it is has also sort of created some headwind. And so if we could get a break on any one of those three things, I believe that you would see a real upswell in activity in this region. That said, though, in the present, this is what we're dealing with, and so we're still working through that. We do anticipate some relief in the second half of this year. This is what fiscal year 2024 looked like. So again, this is July 1 of July 1 of 2023 to June 30th of 2024. There we go. And so showing you the same list, you can see a lot more pie, or a lot more pieces of the pie here. And so aerospace and defense, clean energy, things of that nature. So another thing that's happening here, we think that over the next 12 months, you'll see our pipeline evolve to look more like this. However, it's important to know, we believe in our industry that the economy, the national economy, generally always expands on the back end of a presidential election. We think that's true in this year as well. The thing about the election, though, is you kind of have to have it to know which part of the economy is going to expand. And so right now, the reason you see so many fewer sort of types of deals in the market is we're in the midst of reconfiguring to where we believe this administration is going. We will continue working clean energy with the amount of lithium that we have in the ground here. It's critical for us to continue exploiting. It's not at all the priority for this administration that it was for the last administration. And so for us, we know that we need more energy, but it's fine. But again, we're now chasing the types of energy that we believe will be more palatable to the federal administration as we look forward. And 4 years from now, we'll probably do the same thing again. Because, and why do I say this president's in his second term, which means he won't get another one. So I can't tell you what's going to happen 4 years from now. I can just tell you it'll be different. And so that said, we'll continue working to try to be nimble and maintain our what is our competitive position in the market. A quick look. So, went too far. 1,500 jobs that we've seen come into the region over the last 12 months. 8 million square feet of new sort of construction or new space was delivered to the market. We hosted 93 site visits, and just over $3 billion in net new capital investment was announced in our region. To localize that just a little bit for Sparks, we showed you Casio just a moment ago. It was great to see so many of you at the announcement for the Generator Arc project, basically the expansion in the Oddie district, which was the team at Foothills partnered, obviously working on that deal for a long time, and we were so happy that Doug and Nettie and their team were able to get that across the finish line. A great investment in Sparks. Councilmember Abbott, true to my promise to you last year, our entrepreneurial development group ran 4 events in Sparks this year, ranging from Pitch Mayhem to a number of our startup focused events. And then I may need to look at my phone to get the exact number, but of these 1,500 jobs that you're seeing here, about 400 of those were jobs from organic expansion of Sparks businesses that we met with and assisted through the year. So I promised you we would get better, and we'll get better still. Yeah. Looking at business retention expansion again, you can see 217 companies that we met with directly. That's up 100% from the number of companies that we have historically met with. Uncovered 758 jobs. We've launched our Business Builders program, and now you're going to see us rolling out what we're calling advisory councils, where we'll be working with commercial and industrial providers specifically within the communities in Northern Nevada, Sparks being one of them, to make sure that we've got eyes on what we're missing. So just so you all know, we like for you to hear it first. We'll be, in the coming weeks, we'll be reaching out to a number of your industries to invite them to come and participate in these groups. And these will be groups that meet probably on a quarterly basis. But the whole point of that are help us to get connected at a more granular level with your businesses so that we can provide the services that they need real time. In entrepreneurial development this last year across the region, we assisted 190 startups in getting started. 30 of those were brand new. So what's the difference in a startup assist and a brand new? So we deal with a lot of early stage companies that are on A, B, and in some cases C raises that are just trying to sort of get to that sustainable place. And then 30 of those, though, were brand new companies that we helped get out of the ground. We saw 7 of our new startups funded, and we were so happy that in what has been the most difficult venture environment that I've certainly seen in my career. You look at the data; it's the toughest we've seen in the last 50 years. We still saw over $200 million come into our community, which is really exciting. There we go. In strategic, too far again. Sorry. In strategic partnerships and workforce, my team adds these animations that, one, because I think they're trying to make me more technological, but other they want me to be more interesting. The problem is I don't know that either of those is possible. So that said, though, you can see here we engaged with 51 of this is a new division for EDON. We engaged with 51 of our community partners directly on trying to solve a problem that they were facing outside of what would be traditional job growth. But it just was creating a barrier to them growing in our region. We had 27 specific engagements with educational partners. Now, all of our work with our educational partners is around making sure that we're delivering the workforce that your local businesses need. And that more, I mean, for me, I talk about this is keeping Nevada kids in Nevada. Most important thing we do, that we make sure that the young people that grow up here have the opportunity to stay here and have the same career and success that they can have anywhere else in the country. So this is maybe maybe the most important thing that we do, but 27 specific initiatives with our regional educational partners. And then 35, we engaged in 35 initiatives, call it, to support regional growth. And those run the spectrum of probably the one that mattered most in Sparks were the work that we did and will continue to do on what we hope will lead to the disposition of public lands east of La Posada. I think we think it's not just critical for Sparks. We think it's critical for the entire region. We think it continues to be the most important initiative that's in front of our organization, and we'll continue to work. And how recently as 10 o'clock this morning, I was on a call trying to just sort of make sure that we're checked in. The biggest thing that we did in 2024 that you'll see us continue in 25 is looking beyond California and Nevada. We sort of made a promise to the community to see what was going on in the 46 states in the lower 48 that aren't California and Nevada. We saw that bear fruit in our last fiscal year. We cited if it's sort of I'll call it green. I'm supposed to call it teal, but I don't know. It's green. It's that said, if it's a state that's green on this map, then that means that our eastbound attraction efforts worked there, and we located a company from one of those states during that fiscal year. If we were adding it, if we were looking at this year's map, you'll see New Jersey on there, which is a great get for us to jump into the Northeast and sort of pull a state into, or pull something from that state into Nevada. Also, which you can see here in 2025, we've now expanded that internationally. We're working on 3 different continents and working in about 12 different countries on active deals right now. Before we get the question, yes, the majority of those deals, and not the majority, almost all, 10 of those 12 deals are directly attributable to companies that are trying to find a way around tariffs, that want to make sure that they're in many cases, these are defense contractors that are making a part that we need, that now has to be made in the United States. And so it's created some real opportunity for our region, and we're working to exploit that. What we like about that part of the pipeline, that's all advanced manufacturing. It's all very skilled. It will be highly automated, but the jobs that it will have, these will generate, potentially, if we got all of them, it'd be 6,000 or 8,000 net new jobs for the region. We won't get all of them. But that said, these are all going to be jobs that pay well above what would be a living wage for our region. and have real training and careers attached to them. So very excited about that. We're this year we're gonna go a little bit further, and the year I got here, we met with 140 local businesses. This past year, we're gonna meet. By the time we get to the end of this year, it's gonna be 240. As we look forward, it'll be we're on a 3-year trend to get to 600. We're gonna see 450 this year. That's the goal they've got. And so just know we'll be back here next year to report on at a much more sort of specific level on what Sparks businesses are facing and what we're doing to help them. So, but like I say, this is one of those where we're having to build this capacity gradually. We don't want to jump in and fail. So we're learning as we go. But we went from 140 to 240. We're going to go from 240 to 450 this year, and then we'll be at 600 going forward. And hopefully we can get beyond 600. But that's going to be a thing for us. Again, to Councilmember Abbott, as I promised you, I only refer to this as Startup Week now. But the team throws this logo at me. But that said, we are running Startup Week again this year, and I'm pleased to report that we're continuing to pull more events into the community, and we'll do so. This event is growing really well, and it is my vision that it truly becomes Regional Startup Week as we look forward. As you remember, this one was named before I got here, and but that said, you have held me accountable every year I have talked about it, and rightly so. And so before we get to it, I'll jump into it. That's right. With that, I'll stop and take any questions.
Questions from the council? Ms. Vanderwell.
Thank you. And I'm always excited to see what EDON is doing, and thank you for always bringing in new business to expand our industries and everything else. I do have a question. Your fiscal year 24, and if 25 you can you tell us the percentage or the number of businesses that are being recruited in here that are applying for abatements?
Oh goodness. I don't know that I can give you a percentage, but I can give you a count. So in our last fiscal year, complete fiscal year, where I believe there were 22 announcements, 4 of those qualified for an abatement. And so I think it's important, and thank you so much for that question. There is the rumor that all we do is process abatement applications, and that's not true in the present. Certainly, it's part of what we do. Abatements in Nevada are statutory, and so when companies apply, we help them. But you know, it's interesting. The companies that I love to do, we did a deal last year. There were 5 companies that each invested more than $15 million in our community. But because this was a corporate headquarters that was moving here, these were manufacturers, their day one headcount was 10 to 15 people. They did not qualify for an abatement, but they made a real impact on our economy. These are the types of announcements we're continuing to focus on as we look forward. Thank you so much for the question.
Donald, Mr. Sparks Abbott.
You guys are too kind. Mr. Adams, definitely thank you for all the relooking of how it's been done previously and increasing the Sparks focus. So I did have a question that I just randomly thought of. As we're talking about, attracting so many new businesses here, do we keep track of any that, we're being poached to some of those other states?
We're so not historically, but that is a critical part of what we're trying to build by seeing more businesses. So we can now give you an idea of some of the losses that we faced. For example, Zulily was announced and was a real blow. That's 383 jobs that we didn't want to lose. And so we are now charting those losses.
Okay.
The next thing that we want to get to is being connected enough so that before that loss is announced, if it's just a true loss, like in the case of Zulily, the company's just not there anymore, or if it's someone who's poaching. We're trying to build that now, but we don't have it today.
Okay.
But I do anticipate that when I'm in front of you next year, we'll have real information to report on this topic.
Good enough. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Ms. Spivey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Mr. Adams. I've always been a fan of EDON, sitting on that board for 6 years. Really amazing to see the growth from when I went on that board, probably in, 2016, I think I was on it for 6 years. And what I really appreciate today about your presentation is obviously always the new companies, headquarters, how many jobs, what sector they're in, how much they pay, the salaries. And from when I was first on, and as we moved through before you got here, just the wages that we need. And we finally had so many companies coming that we had to tell them no if they could not pay a living wage. And that was really important, and I loved seeing that, what the average salary from then to now is incredible. But I really like, too, the whole component of bringing companies and headquarters here, supporting retention that Nancy does, the retention, the entrepreneurship, that your whole team does there. But I really like the addition of supporting local businesses and doing that's new. And I think that's as important to supporting businesses that are already here. And I think the expertise of your team and the success of what you do can only be better, especially in difficult economic times that we're all seeing right now. So how do we as a team strengthen everyone, all of our businesses across the board? Because in the end of the day, that benefits everyone and benefits our community. So thank you.
Councilmember, thank you so much. Really appreciate that.
Anyone else? Well, we have a meeting with the general manager of Casio on Thursday, myself and the manager, and we're going to welcome them to Sparks with a
Great news.
great hearty handshake and tell them thank you.
Thank you. Mayor, thank you so much for all you do. And also, if I can, before I leave, thank you to Councilmember Rodriguez for his service on our board. His engagement's been great. We really welcome, and it's been so nice to have you on the board. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Taylor. All right, next up, presentation by the RSCVA, Mr. Larraguetta.
Economic development and tourism.
Same 3 minutes.
3 minutes, you got it, sir. Economic development and tourism, it doesn't get any better today, right? Thank you, Mayor Lawson, member of the council, for being here today. Mike Larraguetta for the record, RSCVA, where the S is definitely not silent, Mr. Mayor. It's definitely not silent. At the RSCVA's April board meeting, Chair Sheevy and members of the board of directors felt it would be beneficial to share the highlights of the 2024 visitor profile study and resident sentiment study with our community partners. This data is used to assist with strengthening Visit Reno Tahoe's marketing, advertising, and organizational strategies, and may also assist with your efforts as well. Presented today are key indicators of these results. However, the entire study is available on rscva.com. It's my pleasure to welcome from future partners, Alex Mullen, who will go through the highlights of the visitor profile study and customer sentiment. Thank you.
Hi, welcome. Let me get set up. As I'm doing that, I do want to say the Reno Sparks Tahoe area actually holds a special place in my heart. I'm a UNR grad. I graduated in 2011 with my PhD in social psychology. So it is great to be back here, be working with RSCVA. So I'm really excited to be presenting these results. Okay, a little bit about what we'll be showing today, some high-level travel trends, and then really diving into the visitor profile and resident sentiment for the Reno Tahoe area. A little bit about future partners. We are a creative insights agency that delivers winning strategies for the travel and tourism industry, along with partnering with DMOs on some custom work. We also have a rich data set of American travelers that we have been tracking for over 15 years. So I want to kind of set the context of what I'll be showing today and just provide some travel sentiment trends over the past few years. So what we're looking here is travel sentiment among American travelers. They are expecting to spend this year, and that has actually returned to levels as you're seeing in 2024, after that dip in January of 2025. However, the confidence that now is a good time to spend has actually been seeing a decline. Although the month of May is showing a slight uptick, that might be changing. And the number of travelers who are reporting that they're going to make travel a budget priority has been really consistent over the past year and a half. Now, why might they not be spending money? Why they may not be spending money on travel? There is growing recession fears. Starting from January all the way through April. May is showing a possible easing of those worries, though, so more to come there. And also why they may not be spending on travel, even though they want to do so, that they are worried about their own financial future and how that will look, a year from now. So just kind of wanted to provide that context for you as we review the visitor profile and the resident sentiment results from 2024. So the primary objective of a visitor profile study is to really understand who is coming here and why. In order to address this objective, we conducted an online survey with 600 Reno Tahoe visitors. So that is anyone who came to Washoe County in calendar year 2024. We put this survey out from July through December of 2024, and all this data is representative of the population of Reno Tahoe visitors. So kind of key takeaway number one is that visitors are predominantly originating from California, and they have a diverse demographic profile. So as you can see here, California is that top origin state, with San Francisco and Sacramento being those primary markets in those metropolitan areas, but other feeder states are including Nevada, Texas, Oregon, Utah, Idaho, and Washington. In terms of demographics, your visitors are pretty split, male, female. The average age is 46.8 years. Most are married, 58%, and a third have children in the household. Most identify as white, though there are sizable portions who identify as Asian and or Hispanic. Over half have at least a bachelor's degree, and the average household income is just about $103,000. A smaller yet critical share do identify themselves as part of the LGBTQ plus community or as having travel limiting disabilities. Just looking back to 2023, your 2024 visitors are leaning slightly more male. They are slightly older, but they are much more affluent than we are seeing from the previous year. Now, visitors are traveling to the Reno Tahoe area for leisure and to enjoy the lake and to gamble. When we look at their trip purpose, they are mostly coming for vacation, and that's followed distantly by those who are visiting for friends and family. Among your overnight visitors in particular, they're motivated to travel to the region to gamble and to see the lake. Following behind is outdoor activities and shopping. Most visitors are arriving to the destination using their own car, though 1 in 5 are coming by plane. Those who are actually staying in the casino or non-gaming hotels are more coming by their own car. Those staying in vacation rentals, more coming via airplane. And your overnight visitors are staying on average 3.2 nights in market. The table on the right, the group with who are staying longer in market are those who are staying at vacation rentals. And then most overnight visitors are staying in a casino hotel. Interestingly, this is more so among the boomer generation as well. In terms of who they're traveling with, most are traveling with another companion, as the average travel party size is 2.6 persons. That person is predominantly a spouse or significant other, though it's important to note a quarter of visitors are traveling to the area with children. Where are they going in this area? Most are going to downtown Reno, but also to Incline Village as well as Sand Harbor. Just looking back to 2023, really consistent in terms of where they're going, though there is a slight decrease in downtown Reno. And then in terms of the top activities in market, most visitors were gambling and visiting the lake and engaging in those outdoor activities, which really aligns to their primary motivations for why they're coming to the area in the first place. Now, among your overnight visitors, the average daily spend per person is $273, and that number translates to $654 per party per day, accounting for the number of persons covered by the spending. Now, visitors really perceived Reno Tahoe as a vibrant, spirited, and outdoorsy destination. We asked visitors to rate their level of agreement of Reno Tahoe on a set of brand statements, and most agreed that Reno Tahoe has a vibrant and fun atmosphere. It's really a place that they can live life to the fullest, and it has a spirit of independence. Now, we also asked our visitors to rate their importance of, rate a set of attributes on their importance of what it is when they're selecting a vacation destination, and then later to rate Reno Tahoe on those same attributes. What you're looking here on this chart is Reno Tahoe's attribute ratings. And you can see the top ones are all around outdoor activities. So you've got winter sports, your access to the outdoors, water access and water activities, but also gambling and those family-friendly activities are also rising to the top here as well. Now, this is a busy chart, so let me break it down for you. I said the chart here is really mapping the percent of visitors who are rating an attribute as important to selecting their vacation destination. That's that light blue line. And then this is also showing the percent of visitors who are rating each attribute for Reno Tahoe, and that's that dark blue wavy line. And the chart is ordered from attributes that are considered most to least important when selecting that destination. So when we look at those two blue lines and comparing them, what we're actually seeing here is that Reno Tahoe is overperforming on most of these attributes tested. The ones in the gray boxes, those are where, on the left-hand side of the chart, those are where Reno Tahoe is really performing well, and those attributes are considered important when selecting a vacation destination, and those are predominantly around those outdoor-oriented attributes. So again, that convenient access to the outdoors, water access, family-friendly activities, outdoor recreation, and having that blend of urban energy and outdoor adventure. Now, in those red boxes, Reno Tahoe is underperforming on just two attributes. That's value for the money and having a variety of museums or art galleries. Now, your visitors are typically planning and booking the trip closely to when they'll be in market. So most visitors are planning less than 2 months in advance with an average planning window of 1.2 months. And they're making travel arrangements shortly thereafter, booking 0.9 months ahead of their trip. And then in terms of outcomes, visitors had a positive Reno Tahoe experience, and they say they're likely to return. So most visitors are reporting high satisfaction with their trip experience. And they are also, when we look at individual satisfaction factors, they rate quality of accommodations highest, and then value for money and interactions with locals the lowest. And most visitors say they would recommend Reno Tahoe to others as a place to visit. And an even larger share say that they would return to Reno Tahoe for vacation. Now, turning to your residents. So in a resident sentiment research project, what we're really trying to understand is the Washoe County residents and their perceptions of the tourism industry and how it's impacting their quality of life. And so in order to meet this objective, we conducted an online survey with 400 Washoe County residents. And again, this data was collected from July to December in 2024. So our first key finding here is that residents have a positive perception about the local tourism industry and its impact on their personal lives. If you look at the chart on the right, over half of residents believe that their future quality of life will improve next year, and that's higher than the share of residents who said that their life has improved compared to last year. And then 60% say that they have positive perceptions about Washoe County's tourism industry, and they also agree that it results in a better quality of life for them and their families. Looking at these two metrics tracked year over year, we see pretty consistent results year over year. The next key finding is that positive sentiment about the tourism industry and its impact on jobs has improved compared to last year. So we asked our residents to rate their level of agreement on a set of attributes, asking the impact of the local tourism economy or local tourism impact on jobs. And almost half are saying that the local tourism industry provides ample job opportunities, but only a quarter believe that the jobs in tourism are typically paying well. So this really suggests that while that residents might be more hesitant to apply or go after readily available jobs given their perception of low wages. And looking at this year over year, though, we do see that their perceptions about tourism's impact on jobs has improved compared to 2023, just highlighting that there's their agreement with ample job opportunities in the area, that's increased by 9 percentage points. And then looking at tourism's impact on the economy, it's seen as important to the local economy and to Washoe County's future. Again, we asked residents to rate their level of agreement of how well the local tourism industry is impacting the local economy. And you can see in the boxes, nearly 3/4 are saying that tourism is very important to Washoe County's economy now and in the future. I do want to highlight the other box, the smaller box, 37%. So about a third also say that Washoe County might be too dependent on tourism. And when we look over at these metrics year over year, residents are increasingly believing about the positive impact that tourism can have on their community. But again, just highlighting that smaller box, they also do have concerns about the reliance of tourism on the reliance of the economy on tourism. And finally, while residents do express concerns about the impacts of the tourism industry on their community, they also acknowledge that the tourism industry has many, many benefits. So we asked our residents to rate their level of agreement on how the tourism industry is affecting their own community. And residents really believe that tourism impacts the community in both positive and negative ways. So this is really highlighting that need to balance these differing perspectives, just pointing out kind of those contrasting views right here. So nearly 3/4 believe that tourism helps support local festivals and events, cultural experiences, sporting events, but almost a similar share believe that tourism brings a lot of crowds and traffic to the community as well. So again, balancing the good with the bad here. And then just compared to 2023, residents are increasingly seeing those benefits, but they're also becoming more aware of what tourism can bring and the challenges it can bring as well. And with that, I welcome any questions that you guys may have about the research.
All right, questions from the council? Mr. Abbott.
Mayor Lawson has made a joke about the S being silent in RCVA. I will say it wasn't, I don't know, there's only one location. There's Sparks Marina. I would like to think that we have a downtown Sparks with rib cook-off and concerts that people are showing up to. I would love for that to be a location in the future if we can. Just I don't know, I see 3 for Reno, 2 for Tahoe. I just think our downtown is more of a core than the marina is. I love the marina, don't get me wrong, but there's people going downtown Sparks too.
Right. And what the RCCA also has is mobile geolocation data. So with that data, we can actually track where people are going. This is simply self-reported, but I do hear you to add maybe another location.
So they're filling in Sparks Marina, not downtown Sparks. They're filling it in.
No. So we provide that list right to them, and they're selecting whether or not it's self-reported whether they're going there. But yeah, we can always add in another area to that survey.
Nice. Thank you.
Golden Eagle Recreation Park. Mr. Anderson.
First, I want to say I am thoroughly impressed when I saw 54 pages. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be an hour. So well done.
Whip through them.
You blew through it. So did have a couple questions, and I'm sorry if maybe you said this and I missed it at the beginning, but how did you reach out to the individuals? And then likewise, their response, how did that take place? And then what was the size of the pool that you interviewed?
Right, so we work with third-party panel providers. So these might be, typically, you know, when you sign up maybe for points or benefits, you can sign up to take surveys. So these panel providers have, the pool is millions in terms of the general population, and I'm just speaking domestic right now. And they have access to target people who sign up based on different demographics. And so what we do for both surveys is we, for the residents, we target based on zip code, so making sure that they actually are a Washoe County resident. So they will target towards those zip codes that they have, and then we also do data quality to ensure that they are in fact residents. And then on the visitor side, same thing. We kind of they kind of target based on different factors, and we then verify them within the survey to make sure that they are visiting within a certain time period, calendar year 2024. So that's kind of the mechanisms we go through, but it is through a third party. It's an online survey in that respect.
Great. Well, thank you for this information. I find it helpful, so appreciate it.
Ms. Bybee.
Thank you so much. And I always find sitting on the RCVA board, I get to see these visitor profiles, which are always fascinating because sometimes we think that it's a certain age or certain education, economics, all the things that I'm always fascinated to see, and to see the fluctuations that we've seen through the last several years. I think the most important part for me is really having the resident sentiment because, and I've been talking about this since I've been on the board, that really the locals, that our local community needs to understand how important tourism is, and that tourism is not an annoyance and, oh, I never go downtown. That might only be my husband because he used to work there and he doesn't want to, he doesn't want to go back where he used to work, even though he loved it. But, you know, kind of, well, tourism creating more of a headache to people that really understanding, and this survey really shows people don't think that, which is encouraging, but also understanding the positive impact, whether you're involved or friends or family come in, but that when there are festivals or concerts or rib cook-off, whatever event it is, that the economic impact and the benefit to our residents here is the amount of tax revenue and C-tax and all of the economic impact of every single event that comes to our community benefits residents and businesses, whether it's a grocery store, a gas station, you know, if you have a business, or just that benefit of tourism benefits everyone, whether you yourself care about tourism or do any tourism yourself, that it is an impact and it's a positive one. So I love that we're able to show that in the residents' sentiment. And I was really exceptionally glad when we started getting that it was positive. So and I think kind of spreading that message, I think, is important. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Okay, thank you very much. All right, let's move on to 7.3, Soulful Seeds presentation.
Good afternoon. Great seeing you all. Thank you, Mayor Lawson, for inviting and allowing us to be here. My name is Erston Whitten. My wife and I, Dee Schaefer Whitten, are the co-founders of Soulful Seeds. 2018 is when we got started. We are a 501c3. But before I get into my brief comments, first of all, Kimberly Essie is our project coordinator, and she's going to give the bulk of the comments on what we are doing for the community. But I'd also like to acknowledge our garden manager, Sage, who is really making that 3 acres shine off Galletti and Glendale. And likewise, we have Nellie, who runs the community food pantry here in Sparks. We've been working with them since actually 2017, when we got started in a small plot down by St. Mary's. So let me, for the benefit of those who do not know who we are, or those who have interacted with us before, those who have visited us before, Let me just give a brief background. So for some of you, it might be a little repetitive, but I just want to make sure everybody's on the same page. We occupy currently about 3 acres off the corner of Galletti and Glendale. The whole property of 93 acres is owned by the state. Washoe County leases about 23 acres, and we sublease at the cost of $1 a year about 3 acres. When we started this organization, the focus was on providing healthy food choices to people. And for some of us, many of us here in this room, it could be a no-brainer. But for many individuals, that is not possible. So having been on the board for the local food co-op, we decided to start a garden up by St. Mary's of about 1,000 square feet, but now we're at three acres. Tremendous growth. Our initial intent was to provide the healthy food, but in addition to that, we wanted to provide training opportunities and workforce development, give people skills that they can use for the rest of their life. And so this, while we are not at the level that we would like to be at, we have made tremendous strides, and we will continue to do that. It is important, I believe, for individuals to have the opportunity to help support themselves. So you will have individuals who will always need assistance for whatever reason, and we're not judging people. We're simply giving them the opportunity. So rather than just giving things out, we want people to have some skin in the game as well. I'm going to give you a little bit of background about myself as to why we started this, why my wife and I got into this in 2017, but it'll be very brief. If I went through the whole thing, I would be here all day. I was raised in a family of 15 children, sharecroppers in Arkansas, in a three-room shack. It's not 3 bedrooms, actually. But the point is that we did not go hungry because we knew how to support ourselves. We grew vegetables, we handled the farm, we planted and picked cotton and did all those kinds of things. But what that has instilled in me is the fact that I believe that we can help individuals who want to help themselves give themselves a hand up, and we want to give them the opportunity to do that. So I'm not going to go any further in my conversation at this point. I might say a few words at the end, but Kimberly will give you more information about what we are doing to support your community.
Thanks, Thurston. Good afternoon, council members. I'm Kimberly Essie. I'm the program coordinator at Soulful Seeds. Thanks for the introduction. Appreciate it. So as Thurston mentioned, we do have a garden a little over 3 acres at Glendale and Galletti. That is our primary growing location. In 2024, we grew just over 6,000 pounds of produce. So small but mighty, but although 3 acres is nothing to sneeze at, but it is our largest garden. We also operate a garden near the St. Mary's campus downtown. That's about 1,000 square feet. And that was our first garden. And then we also operate a garden at Notable Music Therapy Services. But most of our growing occurs in Sparks, and we serve the neighborhoods where our gardens are located. So a lot of the people we serve are in those neighborhoods as well. So we hope to expand our growing capacity through our green waste program, which has allowed us to create enough compost to scale our growing to parts of our garden we haven't been able to grow in before. Last year, we did primarily raised beds, and so this year we're actually able to grow in the farm itself, which is fantastic. And with the help of our hoop houses, which are a type of greenhouse constructed with tubes and covered in heavy-duty UV-resistant plastic, we've been able to extend our growing season out to start earlier and end later, which is huge for our ability to grow more produce this year. We've also started a native plant garden, which is a place for people to enjoy a beautiful, safe space. And we hope to expand our programming and education and be able to host that there in that native garden. It's also great for pollinators. I will talk about our beekeeping shortly. So food connects people, and we connect people to food through our gardens. And we love being a place of connection and capacity building in the community. So let me tell you a little bit about how we've connected people in the garden. In 2024, we hosted 2,400 volunteer hours and over 500 programming and education hours with over 400 new volunteers in the garden. As of May of 2025, we've already hosted over 1,300 volunteer hours, well over 400 hours so far in education, and more than 300 new volunteers. So we're setting up to expand more than we did last year on all fronts. So we are really looking forward to being able to do more programming, and I'll tell you a little bit about what that looks like now. So currently, because we're located on the Our Place campus, a lot of the programming that we do is catered to that population. For people in the room, our Our Place campus is a low-barrier transitional housing for women and children and families experiencing being homeless or experiencing homelessness. So I do a cooking, nutrition, and kitchen skills class twice a month on campus. And what we really like about that is we're able to leverage the produce we're growing in the garden to bring to campus to not only entice people to come to our garden for our programs, but also to show them how to cook healthy, budget-friendly recipes with the food that we're growing that they can get for free, no barriers, while also keeping in mind that when they do transition to housing outside of Our Place, they will potentially not have a lot to work with in terms of materials and cookware. So we try to make the cooking and the produce approachable. I also host a garden therapy program weekly for Our Place residents, but we also are going to be expanding that to the full NAMS campus, and we already do this kind of program with Step 2 Crossroads, and we're expanding those partnerships every month right now. We do beekeeping for trauma survivors, although we lost our hive, so we haven't done it this year, but we have in the past and we hope to do it again. Our executive director is actually our resident beekeeper, so we're hoping to be able to launch that again shortly. And we also host family-friendly events for Our Place families, such as a pumpkin growing and garlic planting day last year, which was really popular. We'll be doing that again. So we continue to expand our pantry and program partners, and we've welcomed dozens of new partnerships this year and continue to increase access to the community of fresh, healthy food without barriers. To be clear, people can walk past our garden and come into the garden and get produce for free, no questions asked. That's the way we love to do it. We love when people come into the garden. We want more people to come in and get produce directly from us. So public programs help connect the community in green, healthy spaces, and it's where we offer our garden education, both formal and informal. So Ersten had mentioned our workforce development program. I want to speak a little bit about that. But we also have public programming that is open to all residents. We have Soulful Seniors, which we launched last year at the summer of 2024. We have over 65 hours of that program alone in just April and May. Soulful Seniors is our weekly volunteer group for seniors. It's intergenerational friendly. We like when our seniors bring their family members and their friends, but it's a weekly group that has really gained a lot of traction because it's clear that people want to connect in the community. They want to help reduce food insecurity while also meeting new friends that are like-minded. We also have started this year a Spanish language Jueves en el Jardín. That's the second Thursday of the month, every month through August. And we also are currently running the partnering with Osher Lifelong Learning Institute at UNR Sanford Center for Aging to do 4 sessions with participants to teach them various things around the garden: beekeeping, garlic harvesting. Ersten's our resident garlic guru. And then we also host public volunteer days that partner with the Washoe County Master Gardeners and other groups in the community that want to share their education about gardening. We also partner with youth, so we are going to be hosting Skiing is Believing day camp in July. That is to make sports accessible for all youth, and we'll be part of that, which we're really excited about. That's a new partnership. We've also done sessions for Nevada Sage Waldorf School and Tahoe Expedition Academy. So let me talk briefly about workforce development. So the same-day work and pay program is something that we launched in October of 2024. It is meant for people to come to the garden, work same day, and get paid same day. There's no barriers to that either. We provide lunch, or depending on the time of day, dinner, and it is no more than 6 hours of work, and it is meant to be a skills development opportunity. It's also meant to provide economic empowerment that day to people who come into the garden, who are often walking to the garden from the NAMS campus. So it's directly impacting Sparks residents. And we also serve as a reference. If people are looking for a job, they can list that they worked doing that with us, and we're happy to vouch for their skills in that capacity. There's also a financial literacy piece involved in the workforce development program, and we're doing our first financial education element this month in partnership with US Bank. We have an arborist apprenticeship, which is in partnership with May Arboretum, and it does meet the State of Nevada Certified Arborist requirement. So we're really excited because we were able to hire our first arborist apprentice last year, and we're looking to hire another this year and 3 more in the next 3 years. This is part of a USDA grant that reimburses us for expenses incurred, so we have to spend the money to get the money. And so we're just looking to continue to develop the workforce development program, expand it, and offer more opportunities. Since launching in 2024, we've hosted 10 same-day work and pay dates and hosted 55 individual participants over 420 hours. So lastly, we are becoming a State of Nevada recognized recovery-friendly workplace this summer. This is part of the Recovery Friendly Workplace Initiative designed to help individuals with substance use disorder achieve long-term success in the workplace by creating a balance between their work and recovery commitments. So we will be certified for that middle of summer, and that is just another opportunity for us to practice what we preach. We want our space to be a place for connection and resiliency. We're growing food, but we're growing connection as well. So this is another opportunity for us to let people know that they're welcome in our gardens. And so we're really excited about that partnership. Lastly, we are launching mobile markets this year. I mentioned one of our favorite ways to get produce to people is directly. We have various pantry partners that we have been partnering with for some time, and we're onboarding new partners as well. But we also want to get food to people who can't access our gardens, who can't access fresh food readily or easily. And the best way to do that is to take it to where people are. So we plan to launch our mobile markets in July, and we are currently working on pop-up mobile markets as well as regular partners on the NAMS campus. So we are looking forward to doing that. Maybe you'll see our van around. So we continue to expand our programs, our food distribution partners and outlets, and partnerships in an effort to serve the community and be a part of the community. And with that, I will hand it back over to Erston.
Thank you very much. So again, our initial focus was providing healthy food, and we actually started with the community food pantry here in Spark. But as Kimberly has explained, we have expanded. And as you know, there are many, many more opportunities in this community. We are glad to be a part of that. Perhaps you're asking yourself the question, how do you pay for this? Yeah, I figured as much. Well, we get, it's the community support. We solicit foundations. Our executive director is not here today because that is what she is working on. We get donations from individuals. We have fundraising activities. And so that's really how we get funded. Our costs currently are at about 2025, about $600,000 for the year. And so some of those funds will come from the grants. For example, the grant from the Department of Agriculture, hopefully it will continue to come through, supports some of our specific expenses. And so with the involvement of the community, with the involvement of your agency, with City of Sparks, Washoe County, City of Reno, we share this kind of information just so you can have a better appreciation for who we are, what we do, and then you can decide if we are valuable to your community. I encourage you, two of you have already come out to the garden and taken a tour, but I would encourage the rest of you to do the same thing. And Kimberly would be the one you would be working with that as well. If you see where we've been and see where we are and see where we plan on going, you will see a vision that's supportive of this entire community. Let me give you just one example. When we started this facility, as indicated, the garden is in your jurisdiction, Sparks. It is land owned by the state that we sublease from Washoe County. Just the earthwork that had to be done and the surveys by Loomis and Associates was done on a pro bono basis. And by the way, that's another thing we do. We do request pro bono activity. Western Nevada Supply, for example, is supplying all of the irrigation equipment, which we would have to pay for. But in any event, this is something that is ongoing, and just like everyone else, I mean, we all read the papers. We know what the papers or listen to the news or whatever. We know the financial issues associated with the county, with Sparks, and with Reno, with everybody right now. But our vision continues to be there. We're going to address the challenges to the best way we can. And again, if your schedule allows, come out and take a look and let us walk you through what it is we're doing. I'd like to take a few moments to address any comments or questions you may have. And again, thank you for allowing us to be here.
Okay, questions from the council?
I have toured your garden, and it was amazing. I mean, I drove in and went, well, I mean, I had no idea what you were doing on land that I probably drove by, occasionally, again, Glendale, and really impressed, even more so today, knowing, I know, Kimberly, you shared some of the programs, but it sounds like you're expanding those, and it's more than the food. I love the therapy. I love working with, with our place, with workforce. I mean, it just encompasses so many things that do nothing but benefit our community. So I think support of what you are doing. And please let us know when you've got fundraisers coming up that we individually, maybe we can't as a city, but individually that we can support. But you guys are doing it. I was amazed and grateful to know of the work you're doing because it's super important. Thank you.
Mr. Rodriguez.
There we go. Thank you, Mayor. First, thank you for everything that you guys are doing, and I definitely will be reaching out. I look forward to see about getting a tour. I do have a question, though. Have you reached out to our Washoe County School Board partners? Seems like a lot of things you're doing as far as like reaching out to community, helping those that are in need. I also know there's a lot of young students out there that could probably benefit from some of this as well. So have you guys reached out to them at all?
To my knowledge, we have not, but that definitely is an opportunity. We do have individual schools that approach us when they want to bring their kids out and actually participate in garden activities. But that's an opportunity for us to reach out and discuss with them as well.
Yeah, I'd love to see about connecting you guys if that's something I'm able to do, and see about getting a tour as well. So
That would be
look forward to
great. You were on that board, right?
I was, yeah. It kind of looked familiar, so
Yeah.
one of our paths are crossed. Thank you again for what you're doing.
Your assistance in that would be quite helpful.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Mr. Anderson.
Wanted to say I appreciate what you guys are doing. It's incredible work, and I haven't been out there yet, so I'll get a hold of you, Kimberly, and get scheduled to come by and check it out. And I did want to say, kind of along the same lines with Washoe County School District, I know they've been working with Rayleigh's, and it was Alice Maxwell, wasn't it, that they have a little garden there that Rayleigh's helped them put together. So I'm not sure if that's something you guys could collaborate with on educating kids with the gardening side of things.
Well, I can tell you personally, I have worked with at least 3 schools in this Washoe County School District, working with kids and working with the teacher. And the success of those gardens depends upon the commitment of someone on the staff to stay with the program. So where there is an individual assigned and they actually work with the kids while they're there with you as an individual, it's much more successful. But that's always an opportunity. And incidentally, we try not to duplicate what others are doing. For example, Urban Roots, which is right down the street from us, they have a lot of education activities for children. And we're not duplicating that. We do have groups come out with their children. For example, last year we had Grace Church come out with people of all different age groups. And we had activities for all of them to do. What the kids liked the most was how it was digging potatoes. They didn't get them all, but it was fun.
Mr. Abbott.
Yeah, I just want to say thank you to yourself and Kimberly and Sage and Ellie for all being here and turning a little part of Sparks into once was maybe somewhat of an eyesore into a vibrant garden that's doing some amazing things. I remember my last tour, my mother and I came out, we got to pick a couple tomatoes and we had a great time, but it was neat to see, as I drive past there, to see the garden space, the greenhouse come together. That was kind of cool just to watch it being built, and it's exciting that you guys are just growing and not just talking about the produce, and maybe a pun intended, but you guys are being vibrant out there, and it's just exciting. It's really exciting, and I think we've been a good partnership of working with you guys on some. I know our PD did some good work helping out there with some issues that you guys had, and we're here as an ally with y'all, and we appreciate you.
Speaking of those hoop houses, the 3 hoop houses were donated by American Ag Credit. And there were a total of about $30,000. The cost to put them up was about $90,000, which we couldn't afford. So our board chair is a former Air Force pilot and an engineer, and he oversaw the putting together of those units. So that's another way we fund ourselves, by not spending the money.
Okay, anyone else?
Thank you so much for having us.
We appreciate you coming by.
Absolutely.
Great program you have. Thank you.
You may see us again.
We look forward to it. All right, let's move on to 7.4, Juneteenth proclamation. Do we have someone here for that? Anybody here for Juneteenth? Okay. Who has that? Diane?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas Juneteenth, also known as Freedom Day and Emancipation Day, marks June 19th, 1865, when Union soldiers brought word to Galveston, Texas, that the Civil War had ended and all enslaved people were free, over 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. And whereas for 36 years, the Northern Nevada Black Cultural Awareness Society, NIPCUS, has led our region's Juneteenth celebration, promoting education, unity, and appreciation for African history and culture. And whereas this annual event offers our community a time to reflect on the progress made, honor the contributions of African Americans, and recommit to the pursuit of freedom, justice, and equality for all. And whereas the Juneteenth celebration features music, art, learning, and fellowship, reminding us of the resilience and richness of African American heritage. Now, therefore, I, Ed Lawson, Mayor of the City of Sparks, Nevada, do hereby proclaim June 19th, 2025 as Juneteenth Celebration Day. Thank you.
Okay, 7.5 is Pride Month. Ms. Bybee. Is anyone here for that Pride Month? Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Whereas all people are born free and equal in dignity and rights, and the City of Sparks is committed to promoting equality and freedom from discrimination for all individuals, and whereas the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, and queer LGBTQ community has made lasting contributions to the cultural, economic, and civic life in our nation and our city. And whereas the City of Sparks recognizes the importance of honoring the history, achievements, and resilience of the LGBTQ community. And whereas Sparks values diversity and strives to foster a welcoming and inclusive environment for all who live, work, and visit here. And whereas Pride Month provides an opportunity to reflect on progress made, acknowledge ongoing challenges, and celebrate love, acceptance, and unity. Therefore, on behalf of Mayor Ed Lawson, Mayor of the City of Sparks, we hereby proclaim June 2025 as Pride Month in the City of Sparks in recognition of the invaluable contributions of the LGBTQ individuals in our community.
All right, 7.6 is Scoliosis Awareness Month. Is anyone here for that? Anybody? Come on, I saw a whole bunch of you up there. Come on down, and we'll read the proclamation, and then we will have you speak.
Perfect. I'll get started with.
Have a seat. Have a seat there, and we'll get to you in a second. Mr. Abbott.
Sure. Whereas scoliosis is a medical condition characterized by an abnormal curvature of the spine affecting 2 and 3% of the population, or an estimated 7 million people in the United States. Whereas scoliosis is a condition that can develop in individuals of any gender, race, age, or economic status, often without a known cause. And whereas an estimated 1 million scoliosis patients seek healthcare annually, and approximately 1 in every 6 children diagnosed with this condition may require active medical intervention to prevent further progression. And whereas the primary age of onset for scoliosis is between 10 and 15 years old, with females being 5 times more likely than males to develop a curved magnitude, males to develop a curved magnitude that necessitates treatment. And whereas untreated scoliosis can lead to physical discomfort, reduced mobility, and in severe cases impact lung and heart function, underscoring the importance of early detection and intervention. And whereas scoliosis screening programs provide critical opportunities for early diagnosis and treatment, which can minimize the need for invasive procedures and improve quality of life. And whereas Scoliosis Awareness Month serves as a vital reminder to educate communities about the importance of routine screening, available treatment options, and support resources for individuals and families affected by scoliosis. Now, therefore, on behalf of Ed Lawson, the Mayor of the City of Sparks, do hereby proclaim June 2025 as Scoliosis Awareness Month and encourage all residents to learn about scoliosis, recognize its signs, and support awareness initiatives and advocate for early detection and treatment to ensure the well-being of our community.
So first, give us your name for the record, and then you can have the floor.
So I'm Kyla Ellis, the leader of the Northern Nevada chapter of Curvy Girls, which is a scoliosis support group. And we, on the behalf of our group, we are very excited and happy that we have a month to be aware of what we're going through and scoliosis. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, sure. My name's Mary. I'm 15. I've had scoliosis for, I've known that I've had scoliosis for 3 years. And that it just it means a lot to all of us to have this month to recognize that there are people with disabilities like us. And that it's important to make care and access to all of these issues and disabilities accessible, so that way we can all keep leading active lives.
One more? At least give us your name for the record.
Silent.
Silent? Okay. Well, it hasn't affected your smiles, I can tell you that. You guys got beautiful smiles. We're happy that you're here. We're happy to help you promote in our little way to the plight of your struggles. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
You bet. Oh, I forgot. We want to take a picture with you. Come down over here, and Councilman Abbott will get a picture with you guys. Come on in there, parents. Get in there.
And you all went for yourself, Larry. Yeah, you're good.
Okay, thank you.
What day is the poker tournament? And then one other, how much money do you guys raise this year at the last poker tournament? 20,000. Awesome.
Normally we'd have you come down, but I get it. That's all right. Come on.
Sounds
come on
good.
Down. Just give us your name for the record, please. And promote your poker tournament, please.
So yeah, my name is Kyle Ellis for the record, father of the leader here at the, it's awesome seeing you guys support these brave girls. I mean, when I say brave, I mean brave. It's just watching what they go through on a daily basis. It's just, my hat's off to them, to you guys. February 28th is the tournament. Happy birthday almost. Okay, it's only 8 months away. Well, we're gonna celebrate that. But yeah, just to see you guys kind of step up and come together and proclaim this month is a big deal. It's really cool to give them the platform to talk about what they're going through and letting them know they're not alone and getting that out there for the other girls that really do need the help and the support. And as a parent, it's good for the parents too, be able to talk to other parents going through it. So I just want to say thank you. And I mean, City of Sparks it's great. It's awesome. Simply put, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much. All right, let's get to some business. We got consent items. Anyone wishing to pull a consent item? If not, I'm looking for a motion. Ms. Vanderwell.
Move to approve consent items 8.1 through 8.5 is submitted.
Mr. Anderson.
Second.
We got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. 9.1, consideration, discussion, and possible appointment of the Sparks representative to the Reno Tahoe Airport Authority Board of Trustees from the following pool of applicants listed in alphabetical order. Mike Kerrigan. That's it. So my choice was Mike Kerrigan, believe it or not. Art, are you still here? Art is coming off the board for us and served 4 years? 8 years. Holy cow. Big dedication to us. Thank you, Art, for your service. We appreciate it. And I will reach out to Mr. Kerrigan and said he barely made it through this vote.
We haven't voted.
Oh, we have the vote. Yeah, but
We haven't
hold on.
voted. We haven't
Okay,
voted.
so I'm looking for a motion. Ms. Spivey.
I am very pleased to move to appoint Mike Kerrigan to the Sparks representative to the Reno Tahoe Airport Authority Board of Trustees with the term ending June 30th, 2029.
Mr. Anderson.
Second the motion.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. 9.2, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of the mayor's appointment to the Sparks Civil Service Commission from the following pool of applicants listed in alphabetical order. Barbara Ackerman and Scott Benton. And my choice was Scott Benton. I'm looking for any discussion or a motion. Ms. Vanderwell.
Move to appoint Scott Benton to the Sparks Civil Service Commission for a 3-year term ending June 30th, 2028.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Second.
I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. 9.3, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of the mayor's appointment to the Sparks Parks and Recreation Commission from the following pool of applicants listed in alphabetical order. We will choose 2, Tracy Gale, Cody Martin, and Megan Menser. And I chose Tracy Gale and Megan Menser. Any discussion? If not, I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Abbott.
I move to appoint Megan Mincer and Tracy Gale to the Sparks Parks and Recreation Commission, each with terms ending June 30th, 2028.
Mr. Anderson.
Second the motion.
I got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. 9.4, consideration, discussion, and possible action regarding the annual performance review of the city manager, Dion Lothan. Shauna.
Good afternoon, Mayor and City Council. Shauna Halterman, Human Resources Director, for the record. For discussion today is the performance evaluation of Dion Lothan, Sparks City Manager. The evaluation process consisted of the mayor and individual council members completing a written evaluation of the city manager's performance from his start with the City of Sparks in June of 2024 through April of 2025. Following the written evaluation, the mayor and council members met individually with me to provide additional details and feedback related to the city manager's performance. Evaluation consisted of 8 categories. They were management of the organization, execution of policy, financial management, relations with council, community relations, communication, leadership, and professionalism. The mayor and council members individually scored the city manager in each category on a ranking from 0 to 6, with 0 being unsatisfactory and 6 being outstanding. Scores were then tabulated and averaged in each category and overall. If you could put the chart on the screen. Oh, is it over here? Oops. Let me help you. I need all the help I can get. Yeah, perfect. If it all fit. Okay. All right, so on the screen, in each category, the raters scored the city manager with the average score on the right-hand side under each category and an overall rating at the bottom of 4.92. In addition to the ranked scores, there were some commonly recurring comments about Mr. Lothan's performance over the evaluation period. And those are that Mr. Lothan has addressed the city's financial and operational challenges head-on in the midst of a financial crisis. He has created a team-oriented, positive culture and a collaborative environment where employees are recognized for their contributions. He implements policy with consistency, fairness, and clarity with a factual and analytical approach. Mr. Lothan is an honest, truthful, and transparent professional leader with excellent regular and timely communication with City Council. He has become an active presence in the community and has collaborated with other jurisdictions for solutions. He's a superior communicator with positive feedback from regional partners and all levels of city staff. And overall, the mayor and city council have confidence in Mr. Lothan's leadership and his well-thought-out practical solutions. They also had some goals and objectives for the next year. Long-term financial solutions to solve budget deficits now and in the near future, including creative options for increasing revenue and fair share division of current funding streams and resources. Planning for infrastructure, improvements and capital improvement projects, more transparent and proactive communication with the public about the state of the city, financial structure, and how financial decisions are made. The mayor and city council desire Mr. Lothan to continue collaboration efforts on fire regionalization, the lands bill, and a road to USA Parkway via La Posada. Succession planning and reducing work strain due to a reduction in staffing also require focus. Mr. Lothan's employment contract allows for a salary increase of up to 5% effective the first full pay period following July 1st, 2025 upon recommendation of the mayor and approval of city council. In addition, a bonus of $5,000 to $10,000 may be approved by city council with an annual performance evaluation rated as satisfactory or better. Mr. Louthan's overall score of 4.92 places him between the score of very good and excellent. Finally, I'd like to thank the mayor and council for meeting with me and giving me their thoughtful and thorough evaluation of the city manager's performance. I'm open to any questions, and pending discussion, the city clerk can adjust the motion.
Questions from the council? Comments? Nobody? Well, I will tell you that I've enjoyed working with our city manager. He's been a breath of fresh air. I think that his overall approach and positiveness and keeping it light, basically. Sometimes a joke is needed at the right time, and he seems to be able to provide that. But quite frankly, I get to work with him day to day, so I'm quite impressed with him, and I'm glad to continue to work with him. I don't know which one of those is my scores in there, but you know, no one's ever perfect, so there's always something to strive for to be the best. And but overall, I'm extremely happy with Dion's performance and his integration into the city and to the community. I think his collaboration with the other managers and the other electeds around the valley has been outstanding. We've had many meetings about how to solve mutual problems that obviously all of us are experiencing in the valley right now. So I'm just happy to give him a fair rating. Above fair. Go ahead, Ms. Spivey.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I would like to say that I echo what the mayor has said, that I think Dion brings just an entire new culture to our culture that was great here, but our leadership that he brings has improved, I know, relations, not just with the council and the mayor, but with our whole staff. The energy, love his positivity. It's always, no matter how rough things have gotten, especially as we're going through budget, I don't feel that he ever comes across as being stressed, that I feel positive and confident that we can get through this, and I'm the ultimate optimist, and that's the way I like to work. So his positivity and optimism that we'll find a way is encouraging and gives me a lot of confidence as we move forward through times that are not as good as they have been at some times, that we will get through this. And I think I really appreciate what he brings from the jurisdictions that he served under. And I think that both Roseville and Henderson, being the cities next to the big dog cities, and how they operate, a lot of innovation and things that we don't know about, because every city in this country has unique things that they do that we can replicate. And so I think his fresh ideas and perspectives and out of the box sometimes thinking, because we've never done it that way, is appreciated, especially in times like this where we're looking for that. So I would like to thank him for his first year of doing an amazing job, and look forward to working together with him, and just want to give him a thank you.
Mr. Rodriguez.
Thank you, Mayor. I just kind of want to, publicly echo your words and Councilwoman Bybee's. I know shortly after election, I think you were the second official person to reach out after the clerk's office, and we met right away, and just the open dialogue that you seem to have with the councils is amazing, and just always getting back to a text message, always getting back to a phone call and email. You just right there, and I do appreciate that, and especially for Ward 5, I know they appreciate it as well, and yeah, I appreciate everything you're doing, and I'd like to be on this trip with you. So thank you.
Mr. Abbott.
Yes, sir. I think echo all the comments made so far, and Dion, I think I've shared this with you. It's obviously no secret you're not from Sparks and haven't lived here, I think, almost a year now, almost. But I tell people when they ask me about how you are and all that, because a lot of people I know are longtime Sparks residents. I'm like, hey, he bleeds orange and green just like the rest of us. City of Sparks colors. I hope everyone got that reference. But you go to the Blue Ribbon, you go to the local place. I saw you at Shields yesterday. Like, you've invested yourself into this community more than I think some people have lived here for a long time, and it's been exciting. I think the mayor mentioned, but I think I've ever seen you stressed, or at least you don't show those emotions very well. And I think a good light joke here and there, it's always supported over here. But one of my questions I do have, you not to put you on the spot too bad, but just reading over our goals and objectives, I think safely assume most of those probably line up with yours. Is there anything in there that you want to add, or maybe to help with some of those scores of things you're looking to improve on in the future?
No, I'm comfortable with the council direction that you've given. At the end of the day, I just want to make sure that I'm providing you the tools and resources you need to be successful. And at the end of the day, if that happens, the community is going to be successful. And I say thank you to everybody for the very, very kind comments. I'm truly appreciative of the opportunity to be here. I'd do it 10 times out of 10 if I had a chance to do it again. And I believe that. But when you have a council, a community, and staff who are invested in care, that's the type of team I want to be on. And I think this entire community represents that a lot. So again, no comments from me other than to say thank you. Appreciate the opportunity and looking forward to what we can do moving forward.
Gotcha. Thank you. And then I'll just add one more if I may, Mayor. I can't speak obviously for everybody, but I know a lot of employees that obviously we employ a lot of individuals here. They are very appreciative and thankful of your service, where they've had more conversations with you than other leadership positions, where they truly feel like you care and that you listen. You might not remember what their kids' names are, but you know that they have kids. You know what their kids' hobbies are, and you're great at that follow-up. I think it's amazing that what you're doing about, they feel seen. I think in your emails you send citywide, it says, literally you say you can reach out directly to me, to you, as, not go up through the channel. And I think that's really awesome of you to put yourself out there and answer those questions directly and not hide behind the city manager's door sort of thing. So.
Mr. Anderson.
Before I jump into our city manager, I want to take a moment to thank our interim city manager that I believe was instrumental in helping to get the city on track, going the right direction, rebuilding the team, so to speak. And I believe a lot of the success that you're seeing is as a result of that. So I want to say thank you, Chief Crawforth, for stepping into that role in that period. Dion, as everyone said, you've been doing a great job. You have a great attitude. You're very responsive. Every employee that I have talked to in the different departments have voiced how thrilled they are that you're in your position and the way you're leading the team. I truly appreciate that. And I appreciate, kind of like what Mr. Abbott just said, that you are concerned about this community, and you show that time and time again. And I appreciate that. The difficult part is that you are deserving, in my opinion, of the full 5%. You are also deserving of the full bonus. I have to admit, based on what we've just experienced in layoffs and asking people to leave early and things like that, that's the part that's difficult. And I just want to make that clear. No matter what we land on here, I believe you deserve it. So I wanted to make that clear. Thank you.
Okay. Anyone else? You want to take a stab at how you want to reward Mr. Loughton or not? No, I'm not rewarding Paul. I'm rewarding Dion.
He's giving Paul a bonus.
Yeah, Paul's going to get a bonus. My undying gratitude.
I would propose that, or make a motion to accept the city manager's performance evaluation, including the specific goals and performance expectations, and to approve, I would say, a 3% salary increase without any performance bonus.
Give us just 1 minute, Mr. Mayor, and we'll go ahead and get that up there for you.
These are always awkward. This has to be done in public. For those of you who don't see us every day, this is awkward when you're talking about somebody's performance and pay increases in a public venue.
Mr. Mayor, I have a question.
Go ahead.
What were the percentages again, the maximum allowable again?
Within his contract?
Yes,
Within
for
his-
salary increase and for performance.
Within his current contract, it allows for up to 5% salary increase effective July 1st, 2025. And then it spells out a $5,000 bonus up to $10,000 bonus, one time only, with a score of what I say satisfactory or better, and he greatly exceeds that.
Thank you.
4.92.
Okay. Go ahead.
I guess my question would be the financial side of this, and I don't know if I need Mr. Kronk to address what are we budgeted for? Is that in our budget?
In our slush.
Just how will that affect a budget that's as tight as it is would help me make a better decision, because I would, I would support giving him the full amount, but I'd like to see where, budget-wise, where we are.
Jeff Kronk, Chief Financial Officer for the record. Consistent with all contracts, we don't budget anything unless we know about it ahead of time. So there is nothing budgeted in the next fiscal year for this, as is consistent with our practice with other contracts.
Thank you.
Can you tell us what the bonus amount would be at 3%, or the salary increase would be, ballpark? Around, I'm guessing around 7,000 or 8,000.
It's close to, I think it's going to be close to
9,000
for 3%.
Yeah. Would you say that's about right?
$9,000
Plus
Okay.
PERS. Plus.
Yeah, plus the roll-ups, PERS.
Correct.
Medicare. I mean.
Okay.
So-
Any further questions? Mr.
Council
Abbott?
members, too, just to bring something to your attention. So pulling his contract that was approved by this body, Section 2, when talking about the annual performance evaluation. So Section 2, Paragraph 2 says, each year that the manager's annual performance evaluation is satisfactory or better, which he achieved, the city, upon approval by the city council, shall pay manager bonus pay in the amount of $5,000. In addition, the city council may award manager additional bonus pay up to $5,000. But just want to be careful here, because what the body agreed to was that if he meets the satisfactory criteria, it's 5, and then there's more. So contractually speaking, he's met that for 5,000. The discretion,
Go like 2.
the discretion would be giving 5,000 more. I do think you have discretion on
the bonus.
On the increase. Bonus, we don't have discretion on.
Mr. Mayor,
Yes, sir.
I would, based on our current fiscal situation, happily decline the performance incentive.
Can we get your lawyer on the phone, please?
So I think what we could do, because it's a contractual matter, that we agreed to the 5,000. If the city manager pleases, that he can either deny the 5,000 payment so that we're meeting the obligations of the contract. I think that's fine if you want to put that, Mr. Manager, on the record.
Yeah, I would happily forego the performance incentive and part of the contract. Happily do that.
Still go with the 3%.
No, we're obligated for 5%.
No, up to 5.
Oh, up, okay.
Obligated for 5.
He kept saying 5, and I didn't know if he meant.
Yeah.
So that's correct. Section 2, Paragraph 1 allows the city council discretion for anywhere from 0 to 5%. Annual increase is discretionary to the body. The bonus wasn't, because he met the satisfactory criteria.
So with the motion on the screen, is that what, are you good with that?
May I ask a question? what about if we go to the required 5,000, or you thought, again, the numbers, maybe we come out to the amount based on the bonus portion as opposed to and I don't know, does that make a difference in payroll or anything like that I don't want to penalize you by doing one or the other.
Oh, yeah, Jeff Cron for the record, just to clarify that there are no PERS benefits attached to the bonus.
Okay.
That
Well, I'll just say contractually, we agreed that he would receive the 5,000. So by saying that he's getting zero would actually be violating the actual terms of the agreement.
So put the 5,000 on there then, and then he can deny it.
You have a motion though on the floor, Mr. Mayor, so I believe that you guys will have to vote this down
Will you
first.
amend your motion then, Mr. Anderson?
I guess I would defer to our city attorney on his recommendation on how we best deal with that.
Well, Mr. Manager, I hate to do this, but we're doing it. What is your preference? Would you rather have 5,000 and the motion says with the agreement that the city manager will deny that? Or do we just?
I'm comfortable with, if the council is comfortable, I'm comfortable with the language on the screen, and I will deny any amount for the performance bonus. Zero is fine.
Okay.
I mean, we're in a tough fiscal position, and I
Legally,
need to do my
we have to
part.
put the 5,000 on there though, Wes?
Well, I mean, your lawyer's always going to tell you to agree to the letter of the law.
Put it on there. We got him on public record. We're good. Yeah.
Yes,
So
Yeah.
will you amend the motion?
Yes,
I
Mr.
think
Mayor.
if the body wants the language in there that essentially says with the agreement that the city manager will forego the $5,000 bonus, why don't we put that in the motion to make it clear? That's what everybody's agreeing to. It's what the manager is agreeing to right now. I can assist the clerk if you need it on the motion.
Got that then, Julie? We're going to amend the motion.
Yeah. And you haven't verbally done a motion second, but you
Right.
hit the button.
Yeah, since I already have, it's on public record that
Right.
we've got a first and a second, but we'll amend the motion, and we'll have Mr. Anderson reread it. Again, I apologize. These are awkward at best to get through this stuff.
Meeting.
Does that suit you, Paul?
So
Okay, so we're gonna,
have,
yes.
hold on. Well, Mr. Anderson will need to reread the motion in first.
Well, no, I agree with the amended motion.
Well, we'll get to that in a second.
Well, you told me I had to agree that we were amending it.
Okay,
So we got it.
we're gonna get there.
Go now.
Okay, we'll try this one more time. I move to accept the city manager's performance evaluation, including specific goals and performance expectations, and to approve a 3% salary increase and $5,000 performance bonus, with the agreement the city manager will not accept the performance bonus.
Ms. Vanderwell, will you accept the amended motion?
I will accept it.
All right, so we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. All right, 9.5, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of resolution number 3465 to augment the FY25 budget by $5,714,035 in aggregate to provide appropriations for General Fund 1101, Impact Service Fee Area Fund 1210, Parks and Rec Fund 1221, and Municipal Self-Insurance Fund 1707.
Good afternoon, Mayor Lawson, members of the City Council. For the record, Wayne Weber, City of Sparks Budget Manager. Today, we seek your approval to augment the fiscal '25 budget in the amount of $5,714,035 across 4 funds identified in your agenda item. Near the end of each fiscal year, we review the budget and in total, and we attempt to cover any budget violations before year end. This item is strictly compliance and has no impact on our planned fiscal '25 estimated ending fund balance. With that, I can continue and answer any questions for you.
Questions from the council? Seeing none, I'm looking for a motion then. Mr. Abbott.
I move to approve resolution number 3465 to augment the FY '25 budget by $5,714,035 in aggregate to provide appropriations for General Fund, Impact Fee Service Area 1 Fund, Parks and Recreation Fund, and the Municipal Self-Insurance Fund.
Ms. Vanderwell.
Second.
I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Wayne. 9.6, consideration, discussion, of possible approval of reimbursement to the City of Reno for Sparks' share of a construction contract with KG Walters Construction, Inc. for the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility Filtration Process Improvements Project in the amount of $12,264,200. $12,264,200, with Sparks' share being $3,847,279.54.
Yes, sir.
Casey.
All right, well, good afternoon, Mayor Lawson and members of council. For the record, Casey Menser, Treatment Plant Manager at the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility. With your permission, I'd like to present items number 9.6 and 9.7 together as they relate to the same project. All right, thank you. Well, I'm here today with these 2 items seeking approval of Sparks' share of the filter improvement project at Tumwharf. We have 12 filters at the treatment plant, and they were constructed in 1985. They're the final step that really polishes off the water prior to being disinfected. Now, in 2020, our facility master plan identified these filters needing expansion when the flow to the treatment plant reached 32 million gallons per day of influent flow. So just to orient you on where we are in 2024, we experienced about 30 million gallons per day. The year prior, we experienced 32.3. So we are right in that range where this is really a necessary expansion. So in 2022, City Council approved a study and a pre-design of the filtration process, which was conducted by Carollo Engineers. While the facility plan estimated that this expansion would be about $10 million in 2020, Carollo, after doing the pre-design work, estimated that work to be over $45 million in 2023. This was obviously not feasible to staff to move forward with, and so during that pre-design effort, though, treatment plant staff as well as Carollo identified some smaller scale improvements that were able to be carried out to still improve the capacity of this process. So in April of 2024, City Council approved an agreement that would allow us to further study those alternative approaches to better match the available funding, as well as still meet the needs of the treatment facility. So item 9.6 in particular is to move forward and with the construction of those improvements. There were 2 bids to do the work, with KG Walters being the lowest responsive bidder, and I'm pleased to say that they were below the engineer's estimate. The following item, number 9.7, is for Carollo Engineers to provide engineering services during construction. We view them as the most qualified to do this work, given their experience with the project. And this was budgeted for in the Tumwharf fiscal 2025 capital improvement program. With that, I'm happy to answer any and all questions.
All right, questions from the council? All right, seeing none, let's take a vote on 9.6. Mr. Anderson.
I move to approve a reimbursement to City of Reno for Sparks' share of the construction contract with KG Walters Construction Company Incorporated for the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility Filtration Process Improvements Project in the amount of $12,264 and
$264,000. Made the same mistake I did.
$12,264,200, with Sparks' share being $3,847,279.54.
Mr. Abbott.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Move on to 9.7. Do you need any more information or can we have a motion? Looking for a motion. Mr. Rodriguez.
Move to approve the agreement AC-6122 with Corallo Engineers Incorporated and the City of Reno for engineering services and construction for the infiltration process improvement project at the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility in the amount not to exceed $1,443,270, with Spark share being $449,930.50.
Will you reread the first number, please? Transpose 4 and 3.
$1,443,270.
$434.
434, thank you,
Thank
sorry.
you. All right, you got a motion, Ms. Vanderwell?
I'll second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. 9.8, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of reimbursement to the city of Reno for Sparks' share of a construction contract with MCOR Services Mesa Energy for the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility Bleach Building HVAC project in the amount of $1,962,420, with Sparks' share being $615,611.15. Casey.
All right, again, for the record, Casey Menser, Treatment Plant Manager at the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility. Mayor Lawson, with your permission, I'd like to present items number 9.8 and 9.9 together as they relate to the same project.
Please.
Excellent. Thank you. Well, I'm here today with these two items, seeking approval of Sparks' share of the Bleach Building HVAC project out at Tom Wharf. Most of the time that I come before this body with Tom Wharf-related items, they're very technical, very nuanced. This is a much more conventional, traditional capital improvement. What we're looking at doing is rehabilitating the heating, ventilation, and air conditioning, or HVAC system on our bleach storage and pump building. The building and its associated HVAC were constructed in 1992, and we're at the point where it's reached the end of its service life. It experiences periodic failures and regularly requires contractor work. It's at the point where, some of the failures cause water leaks. The water is now starting to actually damage the roof of this building. It's particularly important to condition the atmosphere inside of our bleach storage building because hotter temperatures will actually degrade the bleach. And so when we have these elevated temperatures that exist inside of that room, we have to add more bleach because it's a lot less potent, which increases our operational cost for the facility. So this item in particular, 9.8, is to move forward and construct the designed HVAC improvements. There were 2 bids to do the work, with MCOR being the lowest responsive bidder. This project was slightly over the engineer's estimate, but we've had a number of cost savings from different projects, such as the previous agenda items, that have enabled us to reallocate some of those funds and still stay within our approved CIP budget. The following item, number 9.9, is for CR Engineering to provide engineering services during construction. For this project, we view them to be the most qualified work because they designed the actual improvements. This is in the fiscal 2025 Helmore Capital Improvement Program. And with that, I'm happy to answer any and all questions.
Questions from the council on 9.8? All right, seeing none, I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Abbott.
Move to approve a reimbursement to the city of Reno for Sparks' share of a construction contract with MCOR Services Mesa Energy for the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility Bleach Building HVAC project in the amount of $1,962,420, with Sparks' share being $615,611.15.
Mr. Rodriguez. I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. 9.9, do you need any more information on it? If not, I'm looking for a motion. Ms. Bybee.
I move to approve the agreement AC 6124 with CR Engineering in the City of Reno for engineering services during the construction of the Bleach Building HVAC project at the Truckee Meadows Water Reclamation Facility, an amount not to exceed $70,440, with Sparks' share being $22,097.03.
Mr. Anderson.
I'll second the motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. 9.1, thanks, Casey. 9.10, clerk, Madam Clerk, you get to speak for a while here.
I do. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is first reading of Bill number 2834, amending Chapter 9.48 of the Sparks Municipal Code, which prohibits camping on public property in the Truckee River Corridor, Sparks Marina Park Corridor, Victorian Square Corridor, city parks, and city-owned parking structures. A public hearing will be held and Bill 2834 will be acted upon at the regular meeting of the Sparks City Council on Monday, June 23rd, 2025 at 2 p.m.
All right, 9.11.
This is a first reading of Bill number 2835, enacting Chapter 9.31 of the Sparks Municipal Code, prohibiting the operation of unmanned aerial vehicles above or within 500 feet of special events or an emergency response scene. A public hearing will be held and Bill 2835 will be acted upon at the regular meeting of the Sparks City Council Monday, June 23rd, 2025 at 2 p.m.
Thank you. 9.12.
First reading of Bill number 2836, an ordinance amending Sparks Municipal Code Sections 2.08.020, appointments to positions, organization of city, 2.08.060, appointed positions, and 2.25150, city council approval requirements. A public hearing will be held and Bill 2836 will be acted upon at the regular meeting of the Sparks City Council on Monday, June 23rd, 2025 at 2 p.m.
And 9.13.
First reading of Bill 2837 to rezone real property approximately 5.99 acres in size located at 800 Holman Way, Sparks, Nevada, from C2 General Commercial to TC Tourist Commercial to APN 027-34211. A public hearing will be held and Bill 2837 will be acted upon at the regular meeting of the Sparks City Council on Monday, June 23rd, 2025 at 2 p.m.
And 9.14.
This is the first reading of Bill 2833 to annex real property approximately 164.9 acres in size located at 8100 Pyramid Way. Upon annexation, the parcel shall convert from a Washoe County zoning designation of A7 agricultural 7 acres to a City of Sparks zoning designation of A40 agricultural. A public hearing will be held and Bill 2833 will be acted upon at the regular meeting of the Sparks City Council on Monday, June 23rd, 2025 at 2 p.m.
And 9.15.
And the first reading of Bill 2838 to rezone a 164.9 acre site from A40 agricultural 40 acres zoning to 115.89 acres to planned development PD and 49.03 acres to single-family residential 6,000 square foot lots SF6 located at 8100 Pyramid Way. Public hearing will be held and Bill 2838 will be acted upon at the regular meeting of the Sparks City Council on Monday, June 23rd, 2025 at 2 p.m.
Okay, we're going to move on to public hearing and action items unrelated to planning and zoning. Madam Clerk, will you read 10.1, please?
I will, Mr. Mayor. This is public hearing, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of the Community Development Block Grant and Home Consortium Consolidated Plan for fiscal years 2025 through 2029, City of Sparks Citizen Participation Plan, and the Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan for fiscal year 2025-2026, with estimated expenditures of $1,695,869 for submittal to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Okay. Ready, Amy?
I sure am. Good afternoon, Mayor Lawson, members of council. My name is Amy Jones, Housing Specialist. I am before you today requesting approval of the City of Sparks Community Development Block Grant fiscal years 2025 to 2029 Consolidated Plan, fiscal year 2025 to 2026 Annual Action Plan, and the Citizen Participation Plan for the submittal to HUD. What is the Consolidated Plan? The City of Sparks is an entitlement community and receives an annual award of Community Development Block Grant, or CDBG funds, and is required to submit a consolidated plan every 5 years in order to receive the federal CDBG funds. The city's current 2020 to 2024 consolidated plan will expire on June 30th. The consolidated plan is a 5-year document that is designed to help local jurisdictions to assess affordable housing needs, community development needs, and market conditions. The consolidated plan sets the priorities for the use of the CDBG funds for the upcoming 5 years, and the consolidated plan is carried out annually through the annual action plan. Shown on the slide are the components of the consolidated plan that were assessed and updated. The executive summary summarizes the accomplishments of the prior fiscal year 2020 to 2024 consolidated plan, proposes the priorities for fiscal year 25 to 29 consolidated plan, and outlines the community engagement process. The process section details public engagement, which includes the City of Sparks Community Survey, presentations to City of Sparks boards and commissions, as well as a community workshop, public meetings, and council public hearing. The needs assessment includes the analysis of HUD-provided data regarding housing needs, including rents, home prices, housing conditions and locations, household income, household resources, and homeless needs and resources. Additionally, the market analysis also includes the analysis of HUD-provided data regarding market conditions, including housing demand, rents, home prices, housing conditions and locations, housing resources, homeless resources, employment trends, area growth, and barriers to affordable housing. The strategic plan details the priorities, goals, and anticipated resources for the upcoming fiscal year 25 to 29 consolidated plan. And then finally, also included in the consolidated plan is the fiscal year 25-26 annual action plan, which details the activities to be carried out in plan year 1 of the consolidated plan to support the priorities identified in the strategic plan. The city is required to submit annual action plans each year. Entitlement communities set the priorities, develop the activities, and allocate the CDBG funds based on the CDBG program guidelines to address local needs. The priorities and activities must meet the primary and national objectives as identified by HUD, and activities must support the primary objectives, which include providing decent housing, providing a suitable living environment, or expanding economic opportunity. And also the activities must meet a national objective, which includes benefiting low to moderate income persons, eliminating slums and blight, or addressing an urgent need. Based on community input, staff's evaluation of HUD-provided data, relevant HUD regulations, and the feedback received from council in February, the following priorities and goals are included in the draft fiscal year 29 to 29 consolidated plan. The first priority is community infrastructure and facility improvements and includes 2 goals. The first, improve public infrastructure, which includes installation or improvement of curbs, gutters, sidewalks, accessibility modifications, and/or the installation of crosswalk signals in low to moderate income neighborhoods. And the second, improve public facilities, which may include installation or improvements to city-owned public facilities and city-owned parks located in low to moderate income neighborhoods or facilities serving low to moderate individuals or families. The next priority is community revitalization through neighborhood preservation, supporting the revitalization of low to moderate income neighborhoods through neighborhood enhancement, and assisting low to moderate income households with complying with property preservation code standards. The third priority, community assistance, supporting organizations and nonprofits that provide services to vulnerable and low to moderate income persons. And finally, the last priority is affordable housing, also includes 2 goals. The first, to preserve and develop affordable housing through the preservation and development of affordable housing through land acquisition, site work for the development of affordable housing, and other related activities associated with expanding affordable housing in the City of Sparks, and homeownership preservation, supporting City of Sparks residents with essential repairs to their homes through deferred loan and emergency repair grant programs. The priorities and goals are broad to allow flexibility when creating activities in the CDBG annual action plan and address the needs of the community. HUD regulations set a 15% cap on the amount of funds that can be allocated to public services annually, as well as a 20% cap on the administrative costs. HUD regulations also require CDBG grantees to comply with the annual timeliness test to ensure the efficient use of CDBG funds. On May 2nd, each year, HUD evaluates the amount of unspent CDBG funds grantees have on hand. The city cannot have more than 1.5 times the annual award. Grantees that are not in compliance may receive reduced funding in future years. Staff took these factors into consideration when identifying CDBG activities to ensure the funds can be spent timely. As I mentioned, the priorities and goals are carried out through annual activities in the annual action plan, utilizing the city's annual award of CDBG funds. Each activity must be tied to a priority set in the consolidated. The city received notification from HUD that the city's annual entitlement award for fiscal year 25-26 would be $739,006. This is approximately a 7% increase over last year's funding, or $50,772. The city will roll forward $544,848 from previous year funding. The city will have $82,435 in revolving loan funds available for the deferred loan program, and the city will roll forward $329,844 of CDBG COVID funds. Total funding available for the upcoming fiscal year is $1,695,860. Staff is proposing the following activities to be carried out in fiscal year 25-26 annual action plan. $919,939 for pedestrian improvements. I would like to note that $424,981 has been obligated. So the amount available for the upcoming year for pedestrian improvements is $494,908. $329,000 for facility improvements. This is roll forward CDBG COVID funds for the Deer Park play structure replacement. This activity was placed on hold earlier this year due to uncertainty of funding. However, it is moving forward. $20,000 for fair housing activities to support the operations of nonprofits that provide education and advocacy to on fair housing rights in Washoe County. $90,850 to nonprofits providing support and services to youth experiencing homelessness in Washoe County. $50,000 for the homeowner repair grant program, supporting homeowners with emergency repairs in their home. $82,435 in revolving loan funds for the homeowner rehabilitation deferred loan program. $55,000 for housing administration, supporting staff costs and salaries to administer the home emergency repair grant and deferred loan program. Those additional costs may include lead-based paint testing and title report requests. And finally, $147,801 for program administration, supporting staff salaries, planning, and general administration of the CDBG for the. Oops. Switching gears to the Citizen Participation Plan. This plan sets forth the policies and procedures designed to provide all residents equal access to the development of the Consolidated Plan, the Annual Action Plan, the Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, or the CAPER, and updates to the Citizen Participation Plan. The Citizen Participation Plan also applies to any substantial amendments to any of those plans that were listed. Staff made minor updates to this portion of the plan, including additional language that should a disaster or emergency occur, the city may reprioritize funding that is outside of the activities and priorities and goals in the Consolidated Plan and Annual Action Plan to better address the community needs. This updated language would allow the city to expedite amendments as allowable by HUD guidance and waivers. Additionally, the Citizen Participation Plan has been reorganized and updated with current city contact information. The City of Sparks participates in the Washoe County Home Consortium, which receives annual home funds from HUD for the development of affordable housing in Washoe County. The home funds are awarded to the Washoe County Home Consortium, which is comprised of the City of Reno as the lead agency, the City of Sparks, and Washoe County. Notably, a consolidated plan must be submitted for the Washoe County Home Consortium as well. That includes relevant sections to the City of Sparks. As the lead entity, the City of Reno will submit the Home Consortium plan. However, once the sections have been approved by Sparks City Council and uploaded, Reno will then be able to upload the final. You have seen this slide. We have been working on this plan for a very, very long time. Since the last time I saw you, we did conduct a public meeting soliciting public comment on the proposed priorities on March 19th. The draft plan was made available to the public for 30 days beginning on May 9th and concluding today, June 9th. A second public meeting was held on May 20th to allow the public to review and comment on the draft plan. And finally, a public hearing is being held today in front of the Sparks City Council, June 9th. Upon approval of the fiscal year 25-29 consolidated plan, fiscal year 25-26 annual action plan, and the Sparks Citizen Participation Plan by the Sparks City Council, staff will upload the plan for submission to. A recommended motion is listed on the screen. This concludes the presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the council? That's a lot to digest.
It was a lot of work.
Mr. Anderson.
No questions. I just want to say thank you for all of the work on this. You have done a great job. Appreciate your work.
Thank you. I also, Sienna Reed was a huge help on this as well, so I can't take all the credit for it.
Teamwork.
Teamwork, absolutely.
Mr. Abbott.
I'll second that. Great team putting this all together, and I know we had to change some things so when we started administering rental assistance. It's exciting for me to see the emergency repair grant deferred loan come back, just as that's a resource that I've connected people with over the years that it's nice to know we have a couple of dollars to connect people with. And everything else is great too, just that's something that's nice to see too. Thanks.
Okay, any other comments? If not, I'm looking for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, this is a public hearing.
Or we'll go ahead and do a public hearing.
Thank you.
This public hearing, anyone in the public wish to speak on this particular item? Not? I will bring it back to the dais, and now we'll look for a motion. Ms. Vanderwell.
I move to approve the Community Development Block Grant and Home Consortium Consolidation Plan for FY 2025 through 2029, the City of Sparks Citizen Participation Plan, and the Community Development Block Grant Annual Action Plan for FY 2025 through 2026 with estimated expenditure of $1,695,869 for submittal to the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development.
Mr. Rodriguez. Second. Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. 10.2, public hearing, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is public hearing consideration and possible approval of resolution number 3466, authorizing the Financial Services Department to establish an interfund loan to the Community Development Block Grant Entitlement Fund and/or the Community Development Block Grant Fund and/or the Sparks Grants and Donations Fund from the general fund as needed during fiscal year 2026.
Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor and members of City Council. I'm Tiffany Pugh, a county manager for the record. With your permission, I would like to present items 10.2 and 10.3 together as they are related.
Cool.
Thank you. This is an annual compliance request from the Financial Services Department, where we are asking for the opportunity to establish an interfund loan for fiscal year 26 should we need it, as well as hold public hearing in advance as required by the Nevada revised statutes. This year is slightly different because we are requesting your approval for 2 interfund loans. The reason for these requests are having negative cash in a fund for even one day is a violation of the Nevada laws. So having the interfund loans available would be a cash flow management tool that will allow us to stay in compliance. The first interfund loan would be from the general fund to the 3 funds that process grants, which are the Community Development Block Grant Entitlement Fund, the Community Development Grant Fund, and the Sparks Grants and Donations Fund. Each of these funds are operated on a reimbursement basis so that we may experience periods where cash is negative as we await this reimbursement. The term, should we need it, would be an interest-free loan in an amount not to exceed $1 million from the general fund for a period of less than 30 days. The second interfund loan that we're requesting would be from the motor vehicle maintenance fund to the general fund. The reason for this additional request for an interfund loan in fiscal year 26 is due to the declining fund balance in the general fund, and this will allow us to manage our cash flows. The terms, should we need it, would be an interest-free loan in an amount not to exceed $1,200,000 from the motor vehicle maintenance fund for a period of less than 90 days. And in conclusion, we're requesting the opportunity to establish an interfund loan in advance for fiscal year 26, first from the general fund to our 3 grant funds, and secondly, from the motor vehicle maintenance fund to the general fund, and conduct our public hearings in advance. With that, I can answer any questions.
All right, any questions on 10.2? All right, seeing none, this is a public hearing. Anyone in the public wish to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the dais, and I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Abbott.
I move to approve resolution number 3466, authorizing the Financial Services Department to establish an interfund loan to the Community Development Block Grant Entitlement Fund, the Community Development Block Grant Fund, and/or the Sparks Grants and Donations Fund from the general fund as needed during FY26.
Mr. Anderson.
I'll second the motion.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. 10.3, any more clarification needed on that? If not, we're going to open it to the public. The public hearing. Anyone in the public wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the dais. And I'm looking for a motion. Ms. Vanderwell.
I move to approve resolution number 3467, authorizing the Financial Services Department to establish an interfund loan to the general fund for the motor vehicle maintenance fund of the city of Sparks as needed during fiscal year 26.
Mr. Rodriguez. Second. Okay, I've got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you.
Thank you.
10.4, Madam Clerk.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is public hearing, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of Agreement AC 6123 between the City of Sparks and the Sparks Police Protective Association for the period of July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2027, with an estimated cost increase to the city of $31,201 in FY26 and $358,290 in FY27.
All right, good afternoon again, Mayor and City Council. Shauna Halterman, Human Resources Director for the record. For your consideration today are changes to the collective bargaining agreement, also known as the CBA, with Sparks Police Protective Association, also known as SPPA. For background, the current CBA expires June 30th, 2025. The city and SPPA's bargaining teams began meeting in winter of 2024 and met approximately 6 times. A labor market study was conducted and compared wages, special pays, and benefits to local comparable agencies. On May 7th, 2025, the city and SPPA reached a tentative agreement, which was ratified by the SPPA membership on or about May 19th, 2025. If approved, the 2-year contract starts July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2027. Some of the major changes are in year 1, a 2.5% base wage increase in lieu of special pay for crisis intervention training. This training is now required by law for all officers, so a separate special pay for this training is no longer applicable. There was no labor market adjustment as the classifications in this unit were already above the labor market median. Overtime for special events will be paid at 2 times the employee's calculated FLSA rate. The estimated fiscal impact in year 1 is $31,201. In year 2, effective July 1st, 2026, a 1.25% general wage increase on all positions. Bilingual pay will increase from $150 to $175 per pay period. Field training officer pay will convert from a flat $300 per pay period to 6% of their base pay. The night differential pay will increase from $3.45 to $3.70 per hour. A new retiree health benefit for qualified employees who have a minimum of 10 years with the City of Sparks Police Department, who are required to medically retire due to a job-related injury. In this case, the city will pay the employee an annual gross stipend equal to 20% of the monthly group healthcare premium. There's an increase in longevity pay to a maximum of $9,750 at 21 years or more. And annual leave accrual per pay period increases by a half an hour. There's no change to the cap on that, the maximum accumulation. The estimated fiscal impact in year 2 is $358,290. Finally, I'd like to thank the negotiation team for the city and SPPA for their efforts and dedication that resulted in a successful contract negotiation. I'm open to any questions, and this is a public hearing.
Questions from the council? Seeing none, we'll open the public hearing. Anyone in the public wishing to speak on this particular item? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the dais. And I'm looking for a motion. Mr. Anderson.
I move to approve Agreement AC 6123 between the City of Sparks and Sparks Police Protective Association for the period July 1st, 2025 through June 30th, 2027, with an estimated cost increase to the city of $31,201 in FY26, $358,290 in FY27.
Mr. Abbott.
Second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Madam Clerk, 10.5. Thanks, Shauna.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is public hearing, consideration, and possible approval of agreements for professional legal services with the following firms on an as-needed basis as determined by the city manager and city attorney within the city manager's budget authority for the remainder of FY25 and FY26. Marquise Arbach, Chartered AC 6117, Fisher and Phillips LLP AC 6118, Pisanelli Bice PLLC AC 6119, Lemons, Grundy and Eisenberg AC 6120, and Simons Hall Johnston PC AC 6121.
Good afternoon, Mayor Lawson and City Council members. For the record, I'm Allison McCormick, your Assistant City Manager. I am seeking your approval today of 5 agreements with various law firms for professional legal services for the remainder of this fiscal year and all of fiscal year 26. Sometimes, due to conflicts of interest, niche areas of expertise, or other issues, the City Attorney's Office is not able to represent the city in certain matters. When this has occurred in the past, the city has contracted with an individual law firm for that individual matter. This approach can lead to delays because those contracts have to be approved by the City Council. For the remainder of fiscal year 25 and all of fiscal year 26, City staff is proposing a different approach. Specifically, staff is requesting that City Council approve these 5 agreements before you for legal services on an as-needed basis up to the City Manager's budget authority. For fiscal year 26, $450,000 were included in the approved budget for this purpose. Each agreement allows for the attachment of engagement letters for specific matters when the need arises, and sets out the rates charged by each firm. Typical rates, meaning the rates that are charged by the attorneys in each firm who the city has worked with most closely in the past, are as follows. $250 an hour for Marquis Arbach, $600 an hour for Fisher Phillips, $500 an hour for Pisanelli Bice, $225 an hour for Lemons, Grundy and Eisenberg, and $395 an hour for Simons Hall Johnston. This range of rates is due to the different lawyers' experience, areas of expertise, and other factors unique to each firm and each attorney. The city has worked with each of these 5 firms in prior matters, and staff anticipates that outside legal services will be needed in the future. If approved, these agreements would enable the city manager and the city attorney to quickly identify when outside legal services are needed, select one of these 5 pre-approved firms, and move forward with an engagement letter for the matter at hand, avoiding those delays that I mentioned before from the older approach. In the event of a conflict of interest for the city attorney's office, the city manager would select the firm and complete the engagement letter process without the city attorney's involvement. Staff recommends approval of these 5 agreements. And with a reminder that this is a public hearing, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the council? Okay. The public hearing, anyone in the public wishing to speak on this item? Seeing none, we'll bring it back to the dais, and I'm looking for a motion. Ms. Spivey.
Ms. Bybee. So based on the testimony of Ms. McCormick, the motion is not on the tablet. It is on the screen.
So are you saying the motion I'm reading on my tablet is not the same?
Correct, because Ms. McCormick had laid out specific to make clear that it was the appropriate. She has it.
Which one?
Go ahead and read.
I can read this one? Okay.
Got it. Okay, good.
I move to approve the agreements for professional legal services with the following firms on an as-needed basis as determined by the city manager and city attorney, subject to the city attorney's office's ethical obligations within the city manager's budget authority previously approved by the city council for the remainder of fiscal year 25 and 26. Marquis Auerbach, Chartered, AC 6117, Fisher and Phillips, LLP, AC 6118, Pisanelli Bice, Peace, LLC, AC 6119, Lemons, Grundy and Eisenberg, AC 6120, and Simons Hall, Johnson, PC, AC 6121.
Mr. Rodriguez.
A second.
Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thanks. All right, 11, planning and zoning public hearings and action items. Madam Clerk, 11.1.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is the second reading of Bill Number 2832, an ordinance amending Sparks Municipal Code, Section 20.02.013, to require approval of a conditional use permit for new construction of drive-through facilities and intensification of existing drive-through facilities, and Section 20.03.16 to modify use standards for drive-through facilities.
Good afternoon, Mayor Lawson, members of the City Council. My name is Dani Ray. I'm Senior Planner, here to present this item to you today, which proposes modifications to the current Sparks Municipal Code, Title 20 regulations related to drive-through facilities. For some background, the code sections listed on the slide regulate how the city approves drive-through facilities for new construction. However, they don't provide any regulation for existing drive-through facilities that may undergo a change of intensity of use, such as originally approved for the drive-through, say, financial services, a low-intensity activity, to a coffee or fast food sales, a much higher intensity activity. In this case, intensity of use refers to the number of trips visiting the site. Such a change of intensity of use currently is allowed by right. As such, the city cannot review impacts to traffic, parking, noise, light, or air quality, except in terms of the original entitlement's conditions of approval. On March 25th of last year, the City Council directed the city manager to initiate changes to the Title 20 modifying regulations governing drive-through facilities that would allow staff to review such cases through the entitlement process to evaluate and condition potential impacts to the community. On April 17th of this year, the Planning Commission recommended the City Council approve this amendment. So currently, the code requires new commercial construction and additions to obtain an approved administrative review, whether or not they contain drive-through facilities. The intent of the administrative review process is to ensure the requirements of the city's zoning code are being met and to mitigate potential impacts to surrounding uses through the design of new and expanded building and site improvements. For instance, building height may be limited or enhanced landscaping required. The zoning districts where drive-through facilities are an allowed use are shown on this slide and are not proposed to change with this amendment. The code also includes additional use regulations that apply to drive-through facilities for vehicle stacking lanes, visual screening of drive-through lanes, and impacts to residentially zoned properties from vehicles, headlights, and voice boxes. These standards are currently considered by city staff during the administrative review process, again, for new construction only through building design and site improvements. This code currently allows new drive-through operators to locate within existing buildings that already have drive-through facilities by right without administrative review or a conditional use permit. Therefore, a new drive-through business use seeking to locate within an existing building with a drive-through facility would only require an approved building permit for tenant improvement, for interior changes to the building, and an approved business license. These can potentially be approved without any staff evaluation or potential mitigations of traffic, light, or noise impacts or any other issues regarding the suitability for the new use to the surrounding neighborhood and roadways. Some drive-through uses, such as financial institutions, exhibit stable customer demand and therefore do not require additional stacking lanes. However, a coffee kiosk or fast food restaurant can have a much higher customer demand and associated trip generation that may have additional impacts to roadways. In this situation, the impacts of the more intensive drive-through use would not be reviewed by staff because it's not a new drive-through facility triggering an administrative review. So the primary difference between an administrative review and a conditional use permit process is administrative reviews are accomplished at the staff level without public notification or public hearing before the Planning Commission. The conditional use permit process allows public input on potentially significant impacts to be considered, especially for those whose residences are located adjacent to the proposed drive-through. This amendment proposes development and use standards for all new intensified drive-through facilities. Again, intensification means a 10% increase in the number of trips from the previously permitted drive-through use. Existing businesses not proposing to change operators that are just currently in business will not be affected by the proposed regulations. Only businesses changing operators will be subject to these proposed regulations should they be approved today. The modifications mitigate potential impacts such as light, noise, pedestrian connectivity, safety through site design, landscaping, and arrangement of ordering equipment and fencing. Revocation of a conditional use permit if out of compliance with stacking lane queuing length. For example, if the business operator allows queuing of vehicles beyond the length of the stacking lanes, the Planning Commission can revoke the conditional use permit. I would like to take a moment to note that these standards were developed as a result of a collaborative effort with stakeholders from the development community and city staff from various disciplines. Staff met with stakeholders in 3 separate workshops, and staff had additional internal meetings on 4 occasions over the last year. It was important to staff and the development community to have clear and concise regulations that staff believed could address potential negative impacts and provide needed mitigations, and that those regulations the stakeholders would find supportive and find reasonable and doable. So the Planning Commission recommends the City Council approve this amendment. I have the recommended motion up here on the screen, and this concludes my presentation. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions from the council? Seeing none, this is a public hearing. Make a comment.
Amy, I want to thank you and actually the whole team for working on this. This has gone on for quite a while, but in my opinion, I don't think we want to make things more difficult for development or businesses or anything like that. But I believe we've probably all experienced when we've crossed over the city line into another city, and we've seen dangerous situations that have been caused by backups onto roadways because of these kind of situations. I just want to say thank you for helping to keep our city safe. I appreciate all the work you guys have done. Thank you.
That was very politically correct to say. Anyone else? All right, this is a public hearing. Anyone in the public wishing to speak on this item? All right, seeing none, we'll bring it back to the dais, and I'm looking for a motion. Ms. Vanderwell.
I move to adopt Bill number 2832 to amend Section 20.20 or 02, I'll start over, 20.02.013 of the Sparks Municipal Code to require approval of a conditional use permit for new construction and intensification of existing drive-through facilities, and Section 20.03.016 to modify use standards for drive-through facilities.
Mr. Rodriguez. Second. Got a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Motion carries unanimously. Thanks, Danny.
Thank you.
All right, comments from the public. Anyone in the public have any final comments on any item? Mr. Bill, Wild Bill. Hold on, we're going to bring you a microphone.
It's empty.
Okay.
Yeah.
Done deal. We can make that happen. All right, anyone else in the public wish to speak at this time? Chamber leadership? You guys spoken up today? You came to one of our longer meetings too. Normally we're about an hour and a half. So we appreciate you sitting through it. All right, with that, we'll move on to announcements from the mayor, city council, and city manager. Mr. Manager, got anything? Council, do you have anything? Mr. Abbott?
I do. I'm going to give a shout out to Councilwoman Bybee for, I meant to do it last meeting, but planting the flowers out front as I walked in is just a nice touch. And I know you in Public Works do it every year. So just want to give a shout out to yourself and obviously the Public Works team, as well as a proud board member of Sparks Museum. We are celebrating 40 years on Saturday from 3 to 9, downtown Sparks. Great base in the museum, free admission. So just welcoming the whole community down to check us out. So.
Anyone else? That, we're to my favorite subject. We're adjourned.